Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realnesss with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. Up top with me today, we have Michelle. Say hello, Michelle.
Hello.
And coming in on the bottom here today, we have Fanta. How are we, Fanta?
So good.
I mean, okay, this was an episode. But before we get to the main event of this episode, we need to talk about the main event in Michelle Nash's life. Happy belated birthday, Michelle. How are you doing? Milestone, is it not?
It is my 30th. Here I am. It was a great birthday yesterday. And speaking of which, a good friend of mine, Leilani, some of you might know her from Amazing Race Canada, and she loves the challenge. She wants to come on here one day, and she got me a challenge-related gift that she made. So I wanted to show you guys it because it's crazy. So she found it on Etsy, and she recreated it. So it's like a Guess Who game, but it has all the different challenge. She put all the different challengers on it. So you can play with the people from the challenge. It's fucking crazy.
Isn't that epic? I was like, she must be your best
friend. I love it so much. I did see it.
Me too.
I was looking for challenge related things, and I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. But I can't think of anybody else besides you guys who want to play it with. So I'm like, I can't get this.
That's the thing. It was perfect gift for me. And but she still had to make it from scratch. She printed all the pictures, bought a Guess Who game and cut it all up, made it all happen. And I just screamed. I was like, this is crazy. And then to have tonight's episode, which is just insanity. It just provided me with everything I needed. People I hate, people I like, some crazy decisions, flips back. It was just everything.
It was everything. It was definitely a Sagittarius, fire-filled episode as well. We have some people in the comments that are wishing you happy birthday. Happy birthday, Michelle. Adrian says, I hope Michelle is drooling over Nam this episode.
Oh, of course.
Girl. Yeah. Whitney says, now I know why we got so much hot Nam and Fessy content. It was a birthday present for Michelle. Yes, it was. Westboard abs for Michelle. And Natalie says, what do you think about the Fessy strip show, Michelle? It is with your birthday.
Honestly, I rolled. Fessy is thumbs down for me. Agreed. Nam, obviously hottie. I'm not saying Fessy isn't hot, but it's just his personality. And who was it that was was it Amber M that was he gets into himself and he puts down his shirt and this is the only time he has any personality.
That was Teresa.
Oh, Teresa, even better. Yeah, I was like, that's so real. He just doesn't have real personality for me, and I just hate his ego. I don't know. He just annoys me.
Oh, yes. He's in my opinion, his stocks dropped big time in his attractiveness this episode, big time. Sam says, well, Nam is the hot commodity. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
This was all for you. So we kind of know how you felt about the episode, but do you have any more that you want to say about your feelings about it on a whole without letting any secrets out?
Yeah, no, I as someone who has Joseph on their team, it really made me annoyed. At the same time, it ended up being so satisfying. And what I love about the game is when it's up and down, kind of like Survivor, it's the power keeps shifting and all the twists were used in such a crazy way. And even though some of it happened the way I thought it would, not the way that it did. And it really just surprised me to the point that I jumped up and screamed at one point. So, yeah.
And Fanta, what were your overall thoughts of this episode? You got a text from me in the middle because it was that freaking good.
Oh my God. I loved this episode. I love the fact that we got such a good premiere and then we just got this second episode, which was so good. I don't think I've laughed as hard at an episode of the challenge as I have in years. There was 10 times where I was cackling. It was just, it had everything. I was also standing up and jumping up and down and screaming and yelling, and I just had the most fun watching it tonight.
Me too. Okay, so will you point out the times when we get through the episode where you cackled? I do want to know. I'm sure we all did.
Wrote them down.
Yay! That's so
wrote them down. I did my work.
Fessy has a personality for a man possible. What does that mean? He shuts up and looks pretty. Okay, that's true. I mean, who feels bad for Big T? I don't.
I don't.
Okay, but this must be Riggs. How is CT still there? Even Leroy said that in his confessional. I mean, okay, we'll probably get into that a little bit, but I think that they just duped the people, like the cast. You know what I mean? Like, they pulled a fast one on the cast.
Yeah, because they never fully said what was going to happen. If two people were going home, what was going to go down. And I think they wanted to have as much twist as possible. Whether or not they flipped a girl guy, I mean, who knows? It's hard to say for sure. But regardless, the person that's left over isn't just going to get eliminated. Like, their partner went home. They didn't have to do an elimination. It isn't really, like, challenging for them to just go home like that. Like, regardless of who it was, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And he didn't get like everything, you know, like he was just going to get the leftover person. So wasn't necessarily going to be a win for him.
And I think that it was always going to be a women's elimination. And we talked about this a little bit last week because they've had women do that multiple times in previous seasons. So I think it was planned, but I think that they chose not to say anything because they wanted to pull a fast one on these contestants and be like, you don't know what you're doing, what you're talking about. We screwed you over for the entertainment of the show. So thank you, challenge gods here. A good showing on their part for duping all of us. So like you both, I freaking love this episode. Like, it was one of those episodes where I was just so happy and excited, and like I just didn't want it to end. And I was like, please don't be a cliffhanger. I'll be so angry if it's a cliffhanger. Yeah. It needed to be fully fulfilled by the episode because it had everything that I needed it was a perfect challenge episode, in my opinion. They fixed up all the kinks that we were having problems with last season, and so far, first two episodes, I feel like it flows really well, and I'm still being excited by how the gameplay is happening. So thumbs up for me. I'm pumped. So the beginning of it starts with Tori giving that, they do the little confessional like intro. Tori's not really right now like a big player in this game. I was like, oh my God, I forgot Tori was in the season. Fanta, you're smiling. What are you thinking?
Yeah, and I don't know if I miss her. I don't know if I miss her. Like, I don't really feel like she's adding a ton. Maybe that'll change, but we're starting to see other people rise to the surface, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel like Tori, I really was excited about her at first, but everything I liked about her isn't really the same. Like, I still think she has a lot of fight and grit, and so I'm excited about her in competition, but she's playing it safe and really, like, I don't know. I find her a little bit fake now, so I just don't really see her the same way that I see some of the other authentic people.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, she hasn't created it yet, but she doesn't really have a storyline kind of anymore without having a partner or a boyfriend or something, or someone that she's seeing. So maybe that will change if rumors have it she does start maybe with Fessy, like later on in the season, who knows? But I was really surprised that she did the intro because I really did forget that she was on this season. That's terrible. So we get back right to where they had kind of a cliffhanger, being Natalie having to choose whether she's going to stay with Wes, whether she's going to choose CT as her new partner, or take anybody from, what do they call that? People hanging out there? In the agents, other agents,
like infiltrate another agent,
another team. Anyways, do you think that she made the right decision, and were you expecting her to do anything differently, Michelle?
I was expecting her to stay with Wes because she was so pissed at being shocked, and in that moment, it's like, if you were blindsided, then there's no one you can really trust at that point. She doesn't know who lied necessarily. And who knew about her being thrown in. So it'd be too risky for her to pick someone else besides CT. I think maybe her picking CT could have been a smart move for her because he's also really strong and he's less, I mean, it would still be a threat. Like, she'd be a threat no matter what, but She could have done that, but I get why she picked Wes. I don't know if it'll pan out for her though.
What do you think, Fanta?
I was totally expecting her to pick Wes, and I genuinely thought that was a good decision. I think it's really important to keep that bridge of loyalty, because even if she did pick CT will still like throw you under the bus at any point if it means that he's going to win. So, I mean, as snaky as Wes can be, I just don't really see him screwing Natalie over. And I think that by her picking him, that like really, that obviously it made him so happy. You saw him like he was like trying to hide how happy he was. But that is something that he was like, okay, like I'm going to remember this. Like I'm going to make it so that we win this game.
Absolutely. And the thing too that I really liked about her standing her ground is it just shows that she's not a pushover. She's not a snake. It definitely shows her loyalty, as you're saying. And like, it also shows that she's not afraid of the rest of the house, like putting her in. She has a red skull right now. So they basically gave her a red skull. And if they want that, or gold skull, if they want that, they're going to have to put her in with them. And I think she's too much of a beast for them to be. I just don't think she's scared of them. And so I'm happy that she stuck with Wes to help them maybe win, to protect him a little bit, so that maybe that they won't have to go in over, or he won't have to go in over and over again. So I was so happy that that happened, definitely. So CT ends up being an agent without a partner. He's a rogue agent now. So we kind of speculated that this was going to be an option because we saw him on the sidelines of the next, like the previews of the next episode. We still don't have all the details of the, like how it was going to work at this point. What do you think about him being the rogue agent? Like, how do you think that twist was starting to pan out? Either one of you.
I mean, I guess like there was like no other way for that to really go. So I thought either like at the next competition, he would play a very like a kind of sneaky component or something. That was kind of my initial thought, that he would like have some sort of like little kind of power. But I guess that kind of fell flat.
I thought that maybe they were going to do like a 3 people per elimination every other time or whatever. So I thought he would go into the male elimination and it'd be a 3-way and one person goes home. And then the partners shake out how they shake out kind of thing. I don't know. But what happened now makes sense. What I didn't realize is that whoever wins the elimination also still gets that choice first. So that was also a crazy thing. It's like winning an elimination is so much power because
so good.
Not only, like you can choose to leave your partner. If you hate your partner, just put yourself in even. Like put them in, let them try to lose, or go in yourself and you can choose someone else. Like to have that freedom is such a game changer. Oh my God.
And I think absolutely that has been a really big driving force, especially in last season with the introduction of the skulls. Like production and TJ really want you to go in and get your skull.
Do it.
Like whatever it takes, they will keep coming up with things, but at the end of the day, they want you to go in. And yeah, like Michelle said, like control your own fate in some kind of respect.
Like Fessy could have done this week.
What he says about by staying with Wes, Natalie also locked in an ally for future seasons. Absolutely. Like Natalie's smart and she's won Survivor for like a good reason. She won her second time around though, you know what I mean? So I think great.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I got confused because she was playing with her sister the first time, but
no, she still won. She won, right? She won her first season. Her sister went home first.
Part of the runner-up. Yes. So, anyways, no matter what, she's gotten to the end twice in Survivor, the only 2 times she's played. And with that, though, I think that she knows that loyalty and having somebody that's on your side that you can strategize with, and even if you know that he's going to be public enemy number 1, it's better to know that most likely he's going to be put in, and so you can kind of navigate that better than being with some unknown person that people can just throw in and who cares, you know? So I think that she, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, that is a really good point, because look at how no matter what, through thick and thin, often on the show, Wes has been for D. Like, it's not like if you are an ally with Wes, like, yeah, it's gonna go forever. until something you will try to change that for whatever reason. But makes the most sense. As much as people keep calling him a snake, it's kind of interesting because you're like, even when all that shit went down with Dee, like he was like, okay, like I'm trying to take care of her and all of this stuff. So
absolutely. And like I would be banking kind of how Dee did on being invited back to future seasons. And I think that being an ally of Wes, because he doesn't have as many as he used to, is a selling point. So he at least has a little mini army that he can come and like go against like the major factions of this new generation of the challenge. So cut to CT groveling with Cam after the challenge. I mean, I loved it. You know that he's not being fully sincere, but like it's making Cam smile a little bit. Fanta, what are your thoughts about how CT tried to get back in Cam's good graces?
It was a good gameplay to make him look less threatening and to make him look like he was sorry, even though he's not. But I did have an eye roll because I hate the fact of like Cam going into confessional and being like, yeah, I told you. And I'm like, oh my God, like, no, this is not what this is about.
Were you duped, Michelle, by CT groveling?
No, I mean, I thought it was a good moment of like lightheartedness and stuff and like bringing, like, this is kind of part of his charm too. And it's smart because if he thinks about it logically, he knows now he's going to get whoever's left and he's trying to appease. He's like, okay, who are the strongest girls that could easily lose their guy and be okay with it? You know, and as much as Cam loves Josh, he's someone, and at the deep down, she probably knows he's not the best person to have in the end with her. Mm-hmm. So why, like, he's probably going to vie for her because he can't vie for Tori. I mean, she's not going to get, like, Corey's too much of a heavy hitter right now, like, at this stage for them to risk that. Like, he's not going to go home unless, so I got why he was doing it, and it was trolly, but also like, yeah.
It was so trolly. Then Josh coming in, like getting like, "Oh, you can't take my partner. You can't take like, yeah, you can." Like, what do you mean, Josh?
He's just so aggressive, Josh. He's just so.
Whitney dead. Men groveling is my favorite television genre. So thank you, CT. With you. So funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, so. What CT was saying though, like he was acting, I think, like he was swallowing his pride. I definitely don't think he was actually swallowing his pride. I think he was just like, appeasing Cam a little bit, making her feel like a hot shot and like, oh, she's running control of the house, which is a really great position for CT to be in. Kind of like you said, Michelle, like appearing to be weak now, appearing to have nobody, appearing to wish that he'd chosen Cam now. And he really was able to appease her ego, which I think is going to be beneficial for him moving forward. And so Wes is saying, though, in his confessional that they have awoken the sleeping giants between Wes and CT, knowing that they're willing to just throw them down there right away. And that's something that I'm like excited about, is the fact that like they didn't get what they wanted. And then it allowed CT and Wes to now be like, okay, we're playing.
Exactly.
Cool. We're playing now. Like, you're not going to get one up on them. And so I'm happy that it went this way. And you guys are probably agreeing with me.
Oh, for sure.
So, what did you guys think about Joseph and his workout regime?
This was like my first cackle, number one. Everyone just like ripping on him. And like, I don't know if he like realized how ridiculous. Like that cut was so funny to just like see everyone just like giving it. And then he's doing like this like 10-minute ab fitness that we've all probably been doing in quarantine, like for the challenge.
But it was like totally like Pilates, like 20-minute Pilates circuit,
Oh this was like the beginning of like, obviously we already knew from last week, he doesn't really know what's going on and doesn't care that much. But this was the beginning of like, okay, now I actively dislike you and I like actively need you to not be here anymore, even though you're on my team, because girl, you are just being the worst. And this was the beginning. It's just kind of funny still. Then he just became terrible.
Poor guy. So like I definitely cackled at this scene or whatever, and I just started feeling a little bit bad for him though, because like when they cut, like the producers were having a little bit of fun with like, you know, they look like the Terminator and he just looks like, you know, just doing some really like soft exercise movements. So I was already kind of feeling this was painting the story of his demise, but I wasn't sure how it was going to play out. But I was just like, I was getting worried for him, and I kind of was starting to feel a little bit bad for whatever reason. Next scene, we see Cam, Nany, and Nicole all chatting, and Nany's basically saying that she's not really down with having Kyle as a partner. And okay, I love Nany, but she's not that great of a partner herself. So
oh my God.
I don't know why she's like going in on Kyle for the fact that like he has a good social game, but she doesn't want to be his partner. And he's done better, I think, in less seasons than she has.
Yes. I'm so annoyed about that. I was like, I hate the fact that throughout the episode, she kept going like, I just really feel like I need a partner who's going to take this seriously. I need somebody like, we're not an even match. And I was like, bitch, you have been playing like a worse game, first of all, for like the last however many seasons you've been doing this. Sidebar, yes, I love Nany too, but she's been playing a bad game. And I'm like, also, you are basically saying you're saying that you want somebody who is a match, but what you really mean is that you want somebody who can carry you like Turbo did. That's what you're saying. So that like really, really frustrated me so much, because I was like, your game is based off of social. So you could either say like, we play the same game, I need a different partner, but not talk shit about Kyle's game.
What do you think, Michelle?
I don't know. I disagree with you guys. I mean, I see what you're saying for sure. Because obviously I thought that her and Kyle were pretty evenly matched. Like neither of them have won. They both have gotten second place before. They both are like, could maybe beat some people, but not others. Kyle's obviously better in eliminations. He has a better track record. I think they both have social attributes. However, what Kyle has done already in the first 2 weeks is lied about his votes. He's being sneaky. And people are already kind of like iffy. And I think she was sensing some of that and being like, hey, I don't like, I get what she means in terms of like, he drinks and parties, as we can cut to later when we talk about it. But like to her, I think in this season, like last season, she had her friends. And remember how she talked about how like, because her friends were there, she couldn't really be as dedicated to like performing her best. I feel like she came in really wanting to do that this season, I guess. And so yeah, she'd obviously want someone stronger than her to help her. But I think, I don't know. I see what you're saying and I agree. But at the same time, I get why she doesn't want to be with Kyle, because he's not someone who's going to work as a team as well. Like even someone like Josh, who obviously overall is a lot weaker than Kyle, he has a lot of heart and has a good friendship with her. So someone like that is going to have a better bond and work better as a team maybe. Like Kyle might not be the best teammate.
Fair, but what she said wasn't that. You know what I mean? Like, of course I can rationalize why anybody could be a better partner for Nany, but from what she said, or we heard her say, was that she didn't feel that they were equally matched, like in heart and passion for being on the challenge. And so that's kind of what I'm judging this comment on, or like this, like my opinion on, not whether or not like, oh, well, I can understand why she could maybe not want him as a partner. So.
Yeah, but I think he really comes across when he's in the house and he's partying like he doesn't care about the outcome of the game. Mm-hmm. And it seems like only when he gets into eliminations does this thing turn on where he's suddenly like a competitor and he doesn't have that competitive energy and she's not seeing it.
Yeah.
And so I get why she's saying it, but she also doesn't showcase her own drive that well, is what you guys are saying. I think it's there. I just think that she doesn't push it forward enough.
Yes, I have something more to say about this later.
Ooh, okay. Backing it up a little bit, Sam says, I honestly think that Tori does better with Jordan. I think she had more motivation back then. Now she's boring. Exactly, though. I think that she needs to have like relationship drama and motivation from partner to make her be kind of an interesting character, really.
Yeah. She's a chameleon.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a chameleon. Whoever she like kind of latches onto, that's like what it ends up being.
So Burks, hi Burks. You said that the elimination has been male elimination too, though Leroy versus Bananas. So I don't remember all the stats of the different things, but I don't think that they changed it in order to save both Wes and CT for the first round. I think that they just confused the contestants.
Yeah.
I remember Leroy and Bananas doing that. I guess they did.
Kind of do, you know what I mean? Like Bananas, they've gone out first so many times, so like that's why I just don't think that stance really holds that much water, you know?
Yeah.
Willing to lose them first many times.
Yeah, they've lost many times first, both of them, really.
Yeah.
What happens next, though? Okay, so this is the Michelle segment, basically. Cam's eyes are on Nam if she wasn't already a taken woman. Lolo feels that they have a connection. What do you guys think about the Lolo and Nam love, romance, partnership? Maybe lose the virginity too. Like, I don't know, but what do you think?
I do have a question because I have written in my notes, like, did they kiss or not kiss?
That was, a little bit later. I think they kiss. Or like, could she...
Okay, but if they kissed, because we said it has to be like a hookup makeout at least.
Oh, this is your question.
So I'm like, do we count that as a hookup? Because it's Lolo and that's pretty big for her? Or like... what are we doing for that? Because then we could give them each 5 points, but I didn't even see the kiss. Like, I saw them kind of, look like a hug to me.
But didn't she ask for a European kiss? So isn't that?
But she went in for the straight lips, it seems.
But I don't know. We didn't really see it connect on screen. I feel like it doesn't really count as a hookup, but they aren't my people. So if you guys want to add it, I understand.
They're mine. I didn't really see it, so honestly,
I wasn't sure if it was an actual kiss. I could argue that it is a hookup for the fact that they're talking about each other in kind of a sexual way and like maybe becoming a partnership or like a relationship or whatever, but we haven't seen the passionate kiss. So
I think something will come.
Yeah,
either something like sexual or whatever, romantic, or a fight. One of the two. So either way, you'll get points.
Sure. I could see Lolo just like one or the other going off the rails, and I can't wait. Whatever it is. I've been watching every time Lolo's on screen, real talk, I watch like this. Like she's just so wily, and it just like, it makes me so nervous. I can barely watch her.
Well, I can picture like her and Nam having like a secret kiss moment, but not realizing that everybody in the house is watching them. And then they kiss and like, Wes starts the woo and everybody and then she gets super embarrassed and then kind of gets like aggro about it. I can see
that. Do you feel like I feel like he would get more like.
I don't think so. He seems defiant to me.
Well, we can make a side bet on that. So
side bet on who's gonna. I can't picture him getting angry. I think he's
not angry, but like I can see him being like, oh, too much attention. Because everyone is literally staring at him. Like there was like that scene where he was like changing and like getting ready to take his pants off, and I swear there was like 5 people in the room. Like
everyone's like,
hey, what's she gonna do? Like. Poor guy can't like get a break.
Well, he does say though that like he's gonna win the money and love. Like he does find Lolo attractive.
Yeah. And he's a model, guys. Like he's used to this.
Yeah, he's used to being half naked. I mean, they would be a very attractive couple. Someone mentioned like if they had babysitter, it was a niece, they would have very attractive babies.
Attractive, strong ass babies.
Yeah. So the challenge sign is activated, and I swear that there was like they spent so much money on drone shots. I was like, what is this big area? This looks amazing. So they have their next mission, and they say who's going to be making some friends, and it's called Ice Spy. So, Michelle, what do you think about this competition? And can you just maybe explain a little bit like what the heck happened?
Yeah, so to be honest, I thought it was pretty unsafe. They essentially had to run into freezing cold water with ice all around them. as a team get to this like ice block, and they had there was these like red tubes in the ice block. They had to swim it back in the ice cold water, then take these ice picks, pick them down. Once they get the red tube, they got to put it in to the hole of one of their opponent's teams. And every team has 3 vacant holes. Once your holes are filled, you're eliminated. It's one of those classic games where it doesn't matter how good you are. If people are against you, they're going to gang up and you're going to be done early. So essentially that's what happens to Wes and Natalie, because he's the best swimmer, whatever. Everyone's still against him at that point. They get him out. It was an interesting challenge. I thought it was great that CT got to watch. That's a really great advantage because he can see who's working with who. And it really just shows so many people's cards. It was so awkward and uncomfortable and cringy. And so I really liked that. I didn't like, it pissed me off too, but in a way where I was like, well, these fucking idiots, like, you're going to let another team win that's already won when you don't even know what happens in the chamber. You're assuming, you're taking their word for it. You're letting them once again have this thing that you guys don't have, like one up on you again. You're giving them power again. Like, I just thought that was ridiculous. Yeah. But at the same time, like, it was an interesting game, but I was like, this is unsafe. It's too cold.
I agree. I thought it was so entertaining to just like watch everyone stand on the beach and like not do anything. And basically everybody show their cards because yeah, for like on one hand, it's like, oh yeah, like Fessy's like, wow, like no one wants to go against me. But at the same time, everyone's like, wow, no one wants to go against Fessy. So I think that is really like something that will cause the shift for people to be like, wait a second, and change the course of the game, which I think is amazing. And also, I mean, as always, I'm always excited to hear about how Nelson's balls are going to shrivel up. That's something that no, but he was like, they've been calling me Scuba Nelson. And I'm like, no one has ever called you that. Never ever will.
It's Scuba Nelly, not Nelson.
Scuba Nelly. That he had been practicing in the off season.
I mean, good. Please practice. Talent or Survivor, please practice swimming. Just do it. I feel as though he was flirting a little bit with Amber though when they're having their confessional, kind of like, you know, I'm like the big champ vet over here, you know, and like he was definitely bringing her under his wing, and I'm sure he's putting his little Mac game on her. I thought it was kind of cute though, but what?
What were you gonna say? Because I just hope that doesn't shadow Amber, because the only thing that I was like, oh, like Amber's got a personality, but like I hope that she just doesn't go like the whole season without like saying or doing anything.
She will, because we saw in the big preview her kissing Anissa and kissing Michi. So we know that at some point in the season that happens because she flips in the previews. So real Amber is going to come through. Real Amber who doesn't care and does what she wants. And there's a clip, and I think it's her voice because it's her kissing Michi. And then you hear her saying, I'm not playing for him. I'm playing for the money. Like, I don't care kind of vibes. So I think she's going to be like, maybe he'll catch feelings and she's going to be like, bye.
I'm excited. I'm here for it. Speaking of Michi, though, he didn't do that great in the water. He kind of froze up and he had to be medically DQ'd. I felt bad about that. Is that you're giving a moment of silence to Michi?
Yeah, that was a Michi moment of silence. I'm a mess. It's really interesting though, because it makes you wonder, you're like, okay, like, is that one of those things like where people they realize like when they're in the water, like, oh fuck, this is a real deal. Like, what did I get myself into? And like, it's kind of like, it makes you wonder, like, will he come back again?
We'll see how well he does, because people that do decently well, they'll want to come back. Or like Big T, she went out first, but she really had heart and wanted to stay. And so I think it depends on how well he does and like the different challenges that come up. Because if they're all like that one, I don't think he would come back at all.
I don't think we can watch if they're all like that.
No, I don't think so. I think as soon as it's something not water related, Michi will do well. I don't know. I see him like having a lot. We'll see. But I see him like shining at some point.
Shining. Okay, I feel like
okay. I mean, comparatively shining to regular rookies, to Joseph, you know.
So Nicole apparently doesn't know how ice works. Like, I can't with her. And they're just kind of like, you've never put like ice in a glass of water and it rises to the top. I love it. It could be dense and like sink a little bit, but it is buoyant.
I love how she tried to like cover up after and was like, yeah, I was just like playing with you guys. Just like walks away. Everyone's like,
I also love how, I think it was pre the challenge, how Nicole's like, yeah, I don't want anyone else. Like, I want Devin. I'm going to keep my partner no matter what. Meanwhile, Devin's just like, actually, you're so dumb. And I can't even understand what you're saying to me. Like, why does she think that she's such a great partner? Like, she's awful. She's kind of athletic. Okay, she's athletic. She has 0 brains. Like,
she's not a great partner. She's not well-rounded enough, because even if like she could be physically strong, she doesn't know how to maneuver other aspects of certain challenges that her strength isn't useful, because it's like, oh, I have to explain to you how to do something that's just logical.
Exactly. Wait a second. Wasn't she a paramedic?
Firefighter? Fire?
Oh, okay. Either or, that would be scary. If my house was on fire and my life needed saving, I wouldn't want Nicole there.
Oh, she is a firefighter. Yeah.
I think firefighter, I'd rather her than a paramedic. Paramedic go to school for a long time, and that's like high stress.
No. I think she's a firefighter. They should still know basic math, though, right?
And that ice floats?
Maybe she just knows about fire, not about water stuff.
Well, I wonder if she knows that ice is also a conductor of fire, and so like, don't put ice on fire because it actually will still like put fire through. You know, it'll still spark. Which is, God. Anyways, back to the challenge. So Cam still wants to go after Wes, and so they're still ganging up on Wes and Natalie. I mean, we kind of assumed that was going to be happening, but I thought that it's still a little bit short-sighted of Cam. Like, she called her shot, she missed. I think that she should have regrouped, pivoted, and maybe had a different angle, because her continuing to go after Wes is a little bit obvious, and it's just going to give him time to maybe strategize around your obvious target of him. You know what I mean? Which he ends up doing. What do you think, Fanta?
Yeah, I fully agree with that. It's just, it's not vendettas. It's not vendettas. So it's just really, it doesn't gain her any points in any way. Like, I just find it just makes her look like she's not a smart strategic player by consistently going after him.
Exactly. And so like, a lot of people were giving props to Cam, like making a big move. And I think what we were kind of all saying, like, yes, it's a big move, but she should have maybe been thinking a little bit more strategic and a little bit more further down the line than just like seeing this flashy target in the beginning, because there's a lot of game to go. And I don't know. I think that she is making it every week so far less likely for her to be able to win, because she's kind of creating more enemies, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Whitney says they can't give Nicole confessionals if they can't understand what she's saying, which is true. I don't think she had one confessional, did she? Maybe one.
Ugh, the less the better, honestly.
So true. So Nany doesn't really know what's going on in the game, and like, social is her kind of forte usually. But Corey, it also annoys me that Corey's laughing that Wes is pissed, like, haha, we got one up on Wes. Like, and this is what just was driving me at this point so mad. Is like, okay, we get it. You guys are going to gang up on Wes. He's going to get out. But like, is it strategy, or is it just you guys like being like,
they're finally like, we have the power. And like, you know, Wes has been condescending to pretty much everyone for a while. So it's as much, you know, and I'm a Wes stan forever, but at the same time, it's like, they're just letting it get to them and they're being like, oh, now we have the power. And so the idiots, which is like, by idiots, I mean the Nelsons, the Coreys, the Joshes, you've got them, and then you've got them, the leader of Fessy, who's the strongest one, maybe smartest, but also kind of not that smart. So you got all these guys that are like, oh yeah, like I'm strong, and like finally, like we get to pick on the guy who picks on everyone. But it's like you're picking on someone that right now doesn't like has nobody now. So it's like, how is that helping you? And also like you haven't gotten him out yet. And if you put him into an elimination, then he gets an advantage because he gets a skull if he wins. So
exactly. It's so, and it's been so interesting watching this season as well, because you don't have, you know, like CT's like kind of trying to like lay a little bit low now. Wes is getting ganged up on, but you don't have somebody like Bananas and his whole orbit. So it's interesting to see like who the top dogs are. But I just think I'm like, but if you were playing with those guys again, like you would not be like, you're already not pulling off what you think that you're pulling off. And if you were playing with like true vets, you guys would be getting like picked off.
Absolutely. And the thing too, like, I guess with like the Corys and the Nelsons, whatever, they don't really understand that it's not just the numbers that makes Wes so powerful or such a good player or a winner. They think it's just being able to vote out who you want. Like that's the only part of his game that is making him be a challenge champion. And so that's why I think that they're just so bad, is that they're like, that's not all it takes. Like, that's not why he gets to the end, because he has the numbers. It's not because he has the numbers. It's because he uses whatever numbers that he has to his advantage to move further in this game. And so, and a big eye roll to me with like having Corey being like, oh, I just love seeing Wes upset, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like,
yeah, that's like Michelle said, like they're at the top, but strategically, like the smartest out of all of them is Fessy, which isn't the greatest. They're not striking at the right moments. And especially now that skulls is such a big thing, they're totally screwing the pooch on this one. Totally.
They're playing as if you don't want to go into elimination. Like, they're playing the wrong game. Like, Wes would be trying to get himself in at the right time. CT would be wanting to get himself in at the right time. Whatever, that's what Bananas did. But it's like Fessy is just avoiding going in, but just wants power and wants everyone to do what he wants and get rid of strong people so that by the time he finally gets to pluck the last gold skull, he thinks he's going to go so smoothly and be some perfect physical elimination for himself. It'll be some scrappy rookie left that he can just squash. It's like the world is not going to work that way. Like he thinks, oh, unless it's this or this. It's like, dude, you have to risk it at some point. What he's showing us as viewers is that he cares about getting his weekly paycheck more, I think.
Fanta, you were holding back some thoughts.
I can't say it until the end. I can't. Okay. We'll explode.
Yes. Okay, so Fessy and Nisa got no kills, basically. They just gave them the second win. As you kind of already talked about, Michelle, like, pretty silly move considering, like, there has to be information within doing this deliberation. Like there must be benefit for that. And so the fact that they just didn't want to give it to one of somebody else, like why wouldn't one of them want the opportunity to go down and decide who they wanted to go against? Like even if like they just change everything up. It was like, hey, let's throw down someone weak. Like I want to go in and get my skull and have that chance this week. So like, how about I win it this week, guys, so I can get my skull? Like nobody was thinking about them having the opportunity to go down and get their skull. They just instead didn't want to show their cards. But like, I don't know, it was stupid.
The whole beach situation was just so stupid. But I'm so like, God love TJ for just being like, hey, yeah, guys, like we may as well just write your $1 million check right now. Hey, everybody. And just like kept like harping on it until Fessy and Anissa felt uncomfortable. That's awesome. Because
I was obsessed.
I loved that. That was like such a prime TJ moment, but also the truth. And hopefully in some kind of respect, there are some people on the beach that were like, hey, wait a minute. That's very true. We're just handing this to them.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Somebody says in a voiceover, it's a new era, TJ. I couldn't hear who it was. Do you guys know who said that? It was like at the end of the challenge. It sounded maybe like Corey, and it's something that Corey would kind of say. It could have been maybe Fessy as well. But you guys didn't clock it?
I didn't really hear it, but it's cute because it sounds like a word that Fessy or Corey would have heard like before this season.
I feel like I found this new word.
Like, oh, yeah. I'm gonna use that in one of my confessions.
Yeah, use it in a sentence. Yeah, it's a new era.
New era.
Okay, so obviously Fessy and Anissa want to keep it a secret that they get information in the chamber. And it definitely is great that they went in the second time for themselves because they don't have to share this knowledge with anybody else yet. And now they also have the intention and more incentive of them winning again, just to keep that information quiet. So I thought that was the first like strategic thing, but I think it was more Anissa that kind of brought that up. So within their partnership. And then we get to the beginning of the end of Joseph here. So he wants to nominate himself.
I literally was like, what are you doing? I honestly I'm speechless at his lack of game. Not only that, his choice to go against his partner. Like, when you're a rookie, like, what do you mean? You should be working with the people that your partner is aligned with as well to get your team further. Like, what I don't understand here. Like, you are a rookie. You don't have allies. You're from America's Got Talent. You don't have allies. Who are your allies?
But I just didn't even understand though what game he was trying to play.
Yeah.
Him like being like, yeah, like I want to go in, like I want to like it's the wrong game. Like, yes, you want to go in and maybe take down like a top dog. Sure you want to do that, get your stripes, make people maybe not scared of you anymore. But also the name of the game is not proving a point. It's actually getting a skull and keeping your skull so you can run the final. So it was just like, there was just no strategy whatsoever that made any sense. And I'm thinking it's because he was really uncomfortable with like not knowing what was going on and not knowing the game, that he wanted to feel like he had some agency and that he was kind of taking his own fate in his own hands and not being at the whim of this game that he doesn't really understand. And he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't understand what's going on. And so I think that is why he decided to put himself in, because he'd rather put himself in than get duped and like everybody throws him in. Like, that's kind of how I'm feeling that he must have been feeling, because it didn't make any strategy like make sense.
Absolutely. 110%. Because even when, you know, he's going around and like trying to like rile everybody up and everything, and then like Big T approaches him to like have a partner conversation, and he was just being such a dick. Like,
I didn't understand that, like, their argument, because like she was coming in like, you know, just I don't want you. I've heard that you're going around saying that you want to go in, like we're in a partnership, like, you know, we need to talk about these things because what you do affects me, and like, and he basically said that like she was being a bad partner to him, and so he doesn't trust her. I was like, what?
Yeah, like, you can't fire me, I quit. It was a kind of moment, and it was like, oh yeah, like exactly what you said. He really is just way in over his head. He's probably never seen an episode of The Challenge. He thought, oh yeah, I'm a tough guy. I do 10 minutes of Pilates every single day. World watch out. Like, I'm going to win this money easy.
I used to ride those motorbikes.
Oh, boy.
Was it in the air above water, like above the ocean? Like, what do you mean? Like,
it was a video game, Michelle. It was a video game. He gripped that controller. Okay, this was for Michelle, though, this part. Wes wants to be the janitor with Fessy and Corey. I don't know if Nelson was there, but CT was there. And he was coming being like, I just want to be the janitor here. What did you think about Wes's strategic approach with trying to infiltrate, you know, the Team Young Bucks?
I loved it, man. I honestly loved it. I thought it was so classic Wes. I was like, oh, this is why I love you so much. He's never going to give up. And as much as he sounds ridiculous and annoying, and CT was kind of like, oh, dude, like you're digging your own grave. By the end, he made them see a little bit more of sense. Like, he'll keep going until you understand the logic that he's saying. Like, I will do whatever for you. I am one person. If you allow me something, then there's all these things I can do for you because I have brains behind this strategy. And this is how he's always gotten people back on his side. And then, I mean, I don't think it was fully him. I think it was because of the series of events that transpired afterwards that changed things up a little bit. But I just love his passion, and I love like his stupid logic. Like, all he does is talk about how great he is, kind of in a joking way. Like when he made that joke about like being so rich or whatever, it's like he's making fun of himself. But some people like don't grasp that. Like some people aren't witty enough or funny enough to understand, and they're just like, ugh, he thinks he's so this. And it's like, he's trolling. He's making fun of himself. He's not bananas who actually believes he's all these things. Like Wes doesn't believe like he's just playing it up, you know?
Absolutely. If they saw the evolution of Wes and realized that he's trolling. Like it's so obvious to me that like, anyways, I love that it was working when he was just talking about being the janitor and they're just kind of like, I was just like, yeah, that's what I needed Wes to be here still for, because I need to have him at least turn the situation around and use whatever information that he can get. One thing he was saying, he just doesn't want to be blindsided. Like he doesn't care whether he's going to be blindsided, but he just wants to have information because information is power. And with information, you can have retaliation. And so like they don't see that though at all.
Because they're not strategic. They're not seasoned strategic players. And CT and Wes play very different games, but they're both highly entertaining to watch. To watch Wes go in there, it's kind of synonymous to watching somebody who's on the bottom play in Survivor too. Like you have such a limited amount of time, and like you just really have to like you're working. And it's so much fun to watch. There's so much behind it. And yeah, all the young bucks had no idea what was going on.
Well, and it's kind of like how Janelle, like people like love Janelle and she's like a comp piece and she's just like great TV and we all just want to stand Janelle no matter what she does. They both have like the same, but Wes we're talking about particularly right now, that same kind of like wow factor. And people feel like the Nicole Franzels of the challenge are going to try to, like, if they get, or the Dannys, Danielle Donato's, if they get out Janelle, they could be the new queen standing.
Yeah.
But don't see what it actually takes to be who they are. Like, Wes isn't just a winner. Like, he is epic.
Yeah, he's an experience.
Thank you. And you know what? I mean, I love Cam and Leroy. Like I like them a lot. They're on my team and everything. I want them to do well. I want them to get wins, especially Leroy. Like I want these people to have these things, these moments, but going specifically against people just because they won before in the challenge context is not the same. There's been so many, there's been teams, there's been this, there's been that. Every challenge is a little bit different. And like having vets on your side is usually a really good thing. Like, and that makes people who watch like you more because we love CT, we love Wes. So if you're working with them in some capacity, we're going to like you more too. Like these people have been on the show for 20 years. Yeah. You can't compete with that because you've been in two, Fessy. Like you don't even have personality to back it up. I'm not going to stop on that, you know?
and also they can learn from them.
Yeah.
They can learn how to like do the thing.
Exactly. They don't want to learn. They think that just cutting off the head of the dragon, they'll give them the power of Wes and they could become Wes and they could become a winner and they could be coveted by the challenge and people are going to love them. Like they think that that's how it works, but really it's because of all the things that they don't have is why that Wes is such a epic player and why he's invited back multiple times and why he's also a winner. Oh, these boys. But like, I was thinking though, that it was really bad for Corey, obviously, and Fessy to go with Wes's plan because Wes will infiltrate from the inside. And so, I mean, I want to see that, of course, but I was like, are these guys idiots enough to like let this is not even a good like, you know, strategic plan of Wes is to get in there and try to like, he's going to mess it up and he'll take control of the game this way.
Yeah.
But, what?
He totally disarmed them and they didn't even realize it. And that's what's so glorious. They're like, no, well, yeah, right, Wes. But look at what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would be sleeping with the enemy for sure, which, I mean, it's going to be make for good TV. And just seeing them get egg on their face would just be so satisfying. But, you know, the next scene was for Michelle again. We have the Fessy strip scene.
Why is that for me? I don't want that.
Hey, it's your birthday. Oh my God. Maybe that's what I'm going to get. Like, I'll get a cameo. I'm sure he has cameo. And I'll be like, Fessy, can you do a bit of a striptease for Michelle and sing happy birthday?
I don't even want that. Like, there's so many people I would pick before him.
Yeah, that's why we would want to get it for you.
Well, you know what? I'm going to get you a video message from Nicole. And I'm going to pay extra, make it an hour long. And I'm going to get her to tell jokes the whole time.
God, my birthday's next month, though. Dad.
You're a monster, Michelle.
Sorry?
You're a monster.
Much evil. Michelle.
You guys started it. It's not my fault.
So, Fanta, this is your jurisdiction now. We're at the Challenge Club.
Blue.
We're back to the same inflatable balloon thing that has purple neon lights in the middle of the Icelandic ice desert.
And did anything notable happen at this club? I mean, I was looking around to see who was doing shots together, who was kind of hanging out. But I didn't really see that much. But I know you have keen eyes for the club scene.
There wasn't much going on. Like, it was just Lolo was just really like on the prowl to like figure out like, what did Nam say about me? Like, this sort of thing. I didn't really understand this thing. So I guess that Jay and Lolo were talking. And Lolo was like, well, what did Nam say? And then he said, like the whole, like, I want the whole chicken or I want the whole meal or something. I can't remember like what it was.
It was after they got back, but it was the cookie. Everybody wants the sausage or something, or wants the
banana. There was like something like banana in there. And then
he made a comment about how like, oh, she wants the banana too, or something like that. She wants the whole something.
Yeah, the whole thing. And then like Jay made a comment about how he was like really witty and smart.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that Nam is.
At the club, we see Nany moving in on Fessy though.
Okay, I saw that, but I have thoughts on this because I mean, yes, it's Nany, and like, yeah, she's in a relationship, but it's also Nany. But the thing is that I think that she is super on and flirty with like everybody like that, with a lot of people like that. And I think her intention, knowing what they just found out the day before, was to like try to get in with somebody who she thinks like down the road, you might lose your partner without no choice of your own. It might happen. Like, how would you feel if I picked you and gave you no choice kind of thing? Like, it would be out of your hands. And like, because it's obvious to everyone that Fessy doesn't want Anissa because he's like the worst social player and he doesn't actually, everyone could see it on his face. So everyone knows that like, that like he'd be fine with it. So I think she was kind of trying to plant those seeds a little bit and being her flirty way as well, just because it's her. But like, I don't think it was anything serious.
Well, no, when it first happened, I was like, oh, like what's happening? And then she was talking game about like picking her. I was like, okay, but like I feel as though it was just losing a little bit of flirt strategy to be like, you'd want to be with me, right? If I picked you.
Of course.
So Burks is saying here about Nany. So I think Nany isn't a great of a competitor, exactly, but she is a good partner. I agree with that. She's above average in dailies, but I agree that Kyle is more well accomplished.
Yeah,
agreed. And I think that she wants to be with Fessy because it seems as though Fessy's untouchable right now, and like people are wanting him to be in the game. And Fessy actually even noticed that. Actually, Nany, think Nany is a good partner in this format because she's not good at eliminations, but she's really good at dailies, and you're only partnered up on the dailies. True. So, I mean, I can see Fessy wanting to be with Nany over Anissa because she is a more reliable partner, and she's also smaller and lighter. And so if there's anything that you have to like kind of maneuver your partner around, it might be easier to finagle than if he's working with Anissa. So
aren't they both bad at puzzles?
She's not good at puzzles, no.
But she's got some puzzles before.
She's not the worst at puzzles.
But she's not the best, and he's not good either.
No, I mean, yeah, no. I don't think he has the smarts to win any puzzle against anyone except maybe, I don't know who. I think he could maybe beat like Nicole at a puzzle. Maybe Josh. No, not even Josh. I think he could beat he could beat people, but
oh my God.
It says Lola looking at Nam like a sirloin steak. Yeah, it's like nom nom nom. Exactly. So someone's asking. This is a good question. Maybe it will be our homework for next week. I forgot to think about the crater. I was like, oh, the crater.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, we have time. We have like 11 episodes, so we can figure out a better name for the crater. Natalie says, "What's Lolo and Nam's name?"
Like Namlo? Like, do you mean like together?
Lonam? Lonam. Loam.
Low Nam Low. Get it? Let's go. Fine.
I think we should just call it Lamb.
Lamb, okay.
Good.
Lamb. Okay, Lamb, the couple.
Lamb's good.
What happened next year? So they came back. They're talking about hiding the banana. Okay, and this is where Lolo goes in for the European style kiss, but goes straight in for the kiss. But it didn't, it was just very awkward because they're about the same height and it was straight on. There was no tilt. So that's why we couldn't tell if there was a kiss. So I just don't know how that worked. Did their nose smush? Or it was weird. Can you break that down, Fanta?
I just felt like I saw a brushing of that, and then it just turned into a hug. And I was like, I don't know. I guess I just got the sensation. I was like, well, I guess that Nam's not really into this. And
but how you go in for a kiss?
Yeah, it was kind of awkward. So maybe they are a good match. I don't know what to tell you.
If you're gonna go in for a kiss, you can't go straight on. It's just you can't.
As a seasoned kisser, I can tell you that's not how it's done.
So he might not even have known that a kiss was coming, and he was just like, let's hug. It's I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, I don't think he was ready for. But I think he's just the more that I think about it, the more I'm he's very good for her. He's very sweet. He's not like a dog.
And he's more calm. I feel like his energy is a lot more grounded.
Yeah.
The next scene, though, is when I really enjoyed it, was Devin talking with Kyle. Talking about not being able to understand Nicole and her being a fit infant. I was like, that's good. She is a fit infant.
I cackled at this because the delivery was so good. It sounded like he was about to say something just so profoundly serious. And I fell off my couch. I was cackling.
Oh, it was such a good moment and so real. I'm that's the truth. She's just a little puppy that's just yelling stuff really aggressively. You don't understand anything that she's saying. And then she's like, yeah. And then she randomly is extra strong.
Oh, Nicole.
I also love this scene because I just love the brewing of the Kyle and Devin alliance. That got me very excited.
Because they're both sneaky cats. I like it.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing too, that Kyle doesn't really get any credit for being strategic, but he's actually pretty smart. He's snaky and sneaky and, he's willing to stab you in the back and stuff like that. But he is still a good ally if he's in on the plan. You know what I mean?
To be fair, though, he was in on the plan to put up Wes and Natalie and went against that.
But I think that's good, though, because he was working more so with Wes. What do you mean?
No, but what I'm saying is he was let in on the plan and he went against it because he just decided that it wasn't what he wanted. But he was in on it and made an alliance with them and then went against them and lied to them about it.
But I also think, though, he might be in better cahoots with Devin and Wes.
He was in cahoots with Devin at that point, but he wasn't even super tight with Wes. Like they weren't in like an actual real alliance. Not really. He voted against him, or he like was voting against like CT and Ashley the week before, and Wes didn't. Like they weren't on the same page fully. You know what I mean? I think Kyle always does what's best for him.
Yeah.
Which I respect a lot. Like it's a game for you to win, so it makes sense to make the best decision for you.
Well, I mean, maybe that now something more so will solidify with him and Devin and Wes, especially since he's now realized that the house is basically against him as well. They don't care about him staying in the game. And so now he's going to be playing defense, and you need to have numbers if you're going to go against that huge faction. So I'm hoping that this is like, I love the resistance here. They're so good. Yes. There's so few of them, and I know that they're going to just like do so much better because the other side is a bunch of idiots.
Yes, that's what I'm pumped about too. I'm just like, there's more brains on this side. There's more winning right now on the other side, but like, I just love the shakeup.
And all I was thinking was just like, I love people that can strategize. I was just like, that's what I love about the show is the people that can strategize. And I think that's why this was a very complete episode for me, because I got a lot of strategy going into it, but then it had like the stuff that I didn't think that I liked. So like all like the American Gladiator types, challenges and all that stuff. Like I didn't think I liked it that much, but I did when it was balanced with having a lot of strategy within the season. I just still couldn't watch a whole season of just like people battling it out. Like I need the strategy for it.
Yeah.
So, I loved it. I'm just still like all smiles about this damn episode.
And that's the thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I used to hate Devin, but I am like very, very appreciative of the fact that he is there because he's very smart. Blech.
I love it. and he's with the people that you are on side with, basically.
Yeah. I don't like the big group brute alliances in any type of reality show. It's just not that fun to watch. So I'm very excited about this uprising.
I was definitely saying at this point, I was like, I love this strategy session over anything that Fessy and Tori talk about. I was like, oh my God, I don't care about their conversations. Even though they were having like a strategy talk, kind of being like, oh, we should throw so-and-so in or whatnot. But like, there's something about it that just doesn't have that like brilliance of like smarts.
And they're not thinking steps ahead. And that's the kind of funny thing where you see that cut of Devin playing chess because that's how Devin plays. That's how Wes play.
So Kyle and Devin want the house now to vote Big T and Joseph in. So this is one time where I was like, okay, this is good. This is good for Wes. Like having multiple people have the same idea as you is the way that you get multiple people in on a plan, and it's not necessarily like all Wes's people. You know what I mean? And so I was like, oh my God, yes, because if they want to do this, and then Big T also wants to be thrown in there with her partner because she doesn't like her partner anymore. And like, they're thinking that, maybe she's going to get CT now. And so they're thinking of all the ways that it could shake up knowing that CT is rogue. And so like, let's get them to put in Wes and Jacob. Wes takes out Jacob, Wes, whatever, how it ever shakes up, whatever. But then Big T would have the opportunity. What's so funny?
You called him Jacob twice.
I did. I hear it in my mouth now still. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Who was she talking about? And then I realized,
oh my God.
Too, that Big T did that. And so I put on this page. But Big T also was calling Joseph Jacob, which I just did as well because he's kind of a bit of a non-entity. And unfortunately, I think he's probably a wonderful human being, but in this game, he didn't leave a lasting impression. I'm sorry, Joseph. Anyways, so Joseph, throwing him in, like, doesn't matter, like, get rid of him. Wes would get the skull. Big T will get a new partner and it would be great. And so I love that there was multiple people working towards this plan coming together, unbeknownst to Cam and her posse. What did you guys think? Other than the fact that I don't know his name, what did you think about this starting to unfold? We'll go Michelle first.
I was so happy. I was like, thank God. Like, I don't want to see Wes and Natalie in there first, because if they go in against Big T and Joseph, then that's a wrap. That's easy. But I was like this idiot Joseph saying, put me in, but put me in after. Like, it was all so ridiculous. So yeah, I was very excited about that fact, because I was like, even if Wes goes in, high chance he comes back and has a skull. And so, but I also thought it was funny because I was like, Kyle's being like, ooh, I'm going to do all this stuff. Meanwhile, it's like, okay, he doesn't know that Fessy and Anissa are going to find out who voted the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the most hilarious thing about that, is that they're going to see that, but they don't get to see who everyone necessarily votes for. Like, for example, like they obviously only see whoever wins and whoever voted for that person to go in, but like how Jay throws his vote to like a random team, like they don't even see that.
Well, I know, I think you think that they only see who voted for the people that are going in?
It shows compromised agents, and then it shows
who
everyone who voted, but all of those other ones, yeah, like the throwaways they don't see. So that's cool, because it's like Jay inadvertently kept himself out of that line of fire.
Exactly. He doesn't even realize what he's doing for himself, which is that he'll never be on a list of like saying where he needs to be. Well, when he threw in CT and Ashley, that was like a majority thing. So having his name there was actually positive, because he had promised it. But this time he's staying out of everything, which I think is like strategically smart, and leaving it up to like whoever else for the decision to be made.
I think that him and Teresa are like in such a prime spot.
Mm-hmm.
Such a prime spot.
They're not going to be a target for a while.
I'm worried Teresa might get antsy though. I feel like she gets like needs to have a little more control, you know what I mean? And so I'm worried that she's going to start being like, want to have a little more power. And I don't know if she'll be able to just like lay low for long enough. And she might be called out because people might think that she's quiet and small.
Like maybe, but I think it'll be like a couple episodes in at least, so that it's like by that point she probably wants a skull anyway. And against I feel like stacking her against most of the girls, I would put her as the winner besides Lolo, Natalie for sure, and then maybe Cam. And then, you know, like I feel like she would have a really good chance against most of the other girls.
Absolutely. Like even during this daily, like her and Jay didn't do too bad at all. Like they were lugging those kills, no problem.
Yeah, I wish we could see a little bit better how people did, because it just kind of became like a little bit of a mess at the end. And like I always like to see like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Like I want to know the rankings of people. I want to know from CT's vantage point who was doing well. Like I wish that they had like a little tracker on both all the teams, except for the ones that are in the back. You know what I mean? Like I know Gabby, she kind of freaked out a little bit, and Leo kind of helped her, and so, but they're kind of non-entities in this game so far.
Yeah.
So the next part was, we kind of talked about it already, but Big T talking to Joseph, and he just is not really having any of it, and he's saying that she reminds him of his ex-girlfriend, and she's saying she wants a divorce.
I literally was so mad when he said that. Screw you. What? Yeah. That's your own shit.
Yeah.
He's being nagged. Is that what it is? You're nagging him?
Yeah.
You remind me of someone else in my life. Like that's your own trauma. That's your own shit. You don't put that on somebody else.
Exactly. Like, especially when you are attached to them to win $1 million. Like I would be furious if he was my partner. Like
me too.
She was really quite nice, I thought. I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. How mad would mad. So Big T's complaining to Amber and Liv. And speaking of Amber, I haven't seen her on this season at all. I was surprised she's like so in the background. Why are you laughing, Fanta?
Because it's true. Where my Ambers at?
Yeah, guys, it's episode 2. There's 28 people still left, 29 people still left. Like, it takes time. There's people that we don't even see normally.
I know, Michelle, but the Ambers are hot. And you guys get to look at like Nam and Fessy all the time.
I feel like we got some good shots of Amber from Big Brother. Like, I feel like there was a lot of her lounging around and like around for conversations and stuff.
I did see some leg, which was a bit exciting, but I want more, damn it.
Burke says, what do we think about Amber's erasure? I'm thinking like being erased from this episode.
I hate it. I want more Amber.
She's coming. She's going to come, I promise.
Oh, wait, I'll be patient.
I mean, I hope it's not like their exit episodes when like they do well, you know, or they don't, like they lose and they're like visible. Oh, no, hope not. Just seeing if there's any comments that I want to pull up here. Oh, it's kind of funny. Adrian says everyone is playing on the challenge while Lolo is competing on The Bachelor. It's kind of true. It's really interesting with Lolo because we know she's so sexually inexperienced. It's kind of makes me uncomfortable watching it because, like, I don't know. It just feels like it's like kind of adolescent-y and like I don't know. There's something innocent, but I feel like I shouldn't watch it. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have the same feeling about it, but I don't enjoy it.
There is like some cringe factor. I'm just like, oh, I just don't know where this is gonna go, and like I don't know how much like experience she has, so I don't know if her heart is gonna get broken, and like it's just, as I said, I'm watching like this.
It's so cringe. I mean, I think she's beautiful. I think that if she wants him, she can get him. I just don't know if she has the swagger to be able to land him. You know what I mean? Like.
But also, like, I think, like, he's kind of, like, I don't know, he also kind of just has, like, the personality where he's just so sweet and nice that I do feel like it's a good matchup. Mm-hmm. But it's just still very, like, difficult to watch. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to watch them making out or them, like, getting to second base. Is that what people call it these days?
No. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to see any of that. I don't mind the little kiss in the closet, but like I think that that's as much as I can take for the two of them. Even though they're both very attractive people, there's something a little bit too adolescent for me to be able to watch it comfortably.
Yeah.
So the deliberation comes along. One of Wes's lines is, "I am indeed rich." Troll, hilarious. Wes wants Fessy to actually say his name. I think that this is like very smart Wes, because I think that he knows that Fessy is actually a bigger, you know, he's more popcorn muscles. Like he's not like going to call his shot really, like, unless he knows he's going to win. And so I don't think that he would want to have the blood on his hands of calling out Wes. And so that's why I think that he tried even harder to get Joseph to be the houseboat, because then he doesn't think that Fessy was going to be able to do that a second time. And so I thought that was a very smart call. What are you going to say, Michelle?
I was going to say it's super smart. And as much as like they're going to deny it, like he made Leroy see sense of like, listen, you're putting it on him. And then it's only on Fessy. I'm only against Fessy and Anissa if they're the ones who say my name. If you don't vote me in, you're not against me. Like, yeah. I don't give a fuck, even if you were, you know what I mean? Because, like, they called them out last week, so I thought it was brilliant. What I was going to ask you guys about this whole deliberation, I'm going to put up an option here. You can agree or disagree that I think we should give 5 points apiece to the fight, if we're consider it a fight, between Natalie and Joseph, and I would throw Wes a 5-pointer as well, because I feel like it was sort of an altercation that was in a main part of it, and Natalie was heated.
I got goosebumps. I was getting angry. I think it's considered a fight.
Yeah, and I think I would, because it's about Wes was involved too. I think all 3 of them deserve a 5-er.
I definitely accept that. You feel like Fanta?
Do you agree?
I'll take that. Yeah, I do.
And then we each get a 5.
Natalie just like calling him out though, and just being like, you know, like you're sitting there, you want to call him out. Let's give him what you want. You want that, and like I was just like, okay, but Natalie, just hold back a little bit because you don't want to like.
I was obsessed. I didn't care. I was like, Natalie.
I know, but I was like, just be careful though. You don't want it to be like you're winning, you're getting this. They're gonna do it, but you can't go too far over, or they're going to realize that they're getting tricked. No, but it was so good. I was like,
yeah, I totally agree, and I love that. I love that like Natalie already has like a step up strategically and just being able to like and socially and. She's everything. Like in that moment, I was like, I love her. I would be so scared of her. She's the best.
What I wrote there, my blood is boiling. It's what I wrote that. Like I was furious at Joseph at that moment. I'm like, and I could feel her frustration and Wes's frustration in the deliberation and Big T's frustration with that partner. I was just like, this guy's an idiot. Oh, so angry. So angry. So Wes, though, troll, he was giving Joseph props, about like wanting to go against him or whatever. Like he just loves to manipulate people's mind and so that they don't realize that they're actually like sneaking behind him. You know what I mean? Like it's just very good. He's very good at what he does. With the what did he call the multi-time winner champion, whatever speaking. What did he say? Multi-champion speaking?
The multi-champion is speaking.
Like, Wes.
Yeah. I love how Darrell like piped in confessional though and was like, he ain't that rich.
Exactly. But it's probably because like he's played like the old seasons where it's like 50 grand for a win.
Yeah, like he's just
also like Darrell is just so funny with those little things. Like everyone forgets about him. Everyone forgets that he's won more than anybody else. 4-time winner. And he's just chilling like, ugh, these fucking people. Like they all have like he just I love Darrell. I love him so much.
I love him.
London. Hi, London. Thanks for joining us in the chat here. London says Jacob is going to have pickup shit. Joseph is going to have the same impact as interest from World of the Wars. World of the Worlds too. I'm thinking winners at war of the worlds, anyway, sorry. You know what I'm talking about, or he's talking about. Adrian also says Joseph calling her weak-minded is just, weak-minded, like he
I hate men like that who they believe that they're just so smart, and especially when they think that they are smarter than women, when they're not. That really gets under my skin. I hate that whole like when guys are like, you're weak-minded, you're not thinking of the bigger picture. I hate that.
And like she's like out strategizing him, like
she's a brilliant social player.
So Lennon says that's why he loves the challenge. It has something for everybody. I love the gladiator style the most, and you love the strategy. The show brings a healthy mix of everything. Yes, this season so far they're doing it really well to satisfy me, giving me a healthy mix of everything. I think that's why we were all so like excited because all parts of it was challenged. It was great. Oh my God, Dad. Whitney, his name is Jacob now. I'm unaware of the other name. Brutal. Wow.
Yeah, I'm honestly fine to call him Jacob for the rest of this episode.
I mean, it's who he is. Okay, so London says, since there's only 10 gold skulls, do you guys think that people with skulls will be thrown back in to take their skull? I do think it's a possibility. I think that the people, though, that have their skull are a bit scary. So I don't know if it's going to be, well, maybe not Kyle, but Natalie would scary.
Natalie would definitely want not.
I think it'll just be at the end. Once all the skulls are taken, and out of the options, someone might be like, okay, I guess I'll try Kyle. Like, like they'll place their bets against the person they think they probably have the best chance out of. So I guess it'll just depend.
Especially if they all get skulls early, they're going to have to start getting, people are going to have to go in and defend them. So Kyle might go in multiple times depending on who it is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that for sure. I can also see though people not being able, people actually being able to defend them. Say Jay goes in against Fessy who has a skull. I can see Jay not getting a skull from Fessy. You know what I mean?
Unless it was a puzzle.
Unless it was a puzzle. Unless it was a lot of things, actually, probably. Okay, so I was really at this point, like, after this deliberation, I was like, man, I hope that Big T has got these numbers. Like, this is going to work because there's multiple groups that want the same outcome. And it's going to look like Wes is the mastermind here, but it was also all these little, like, pieces that were working together for the same outcome. So I was praying for it. But did you guys notice that Leroy and Cam voted differently?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was like a thing where Leroy was like, no one's going to find out. I'm just going to throw one of the votes to Wes because I think he has the numbers anyway. Or if they talked about it and were like, let's split it so that we have allies on both sides of the fence no matter what. So that, like, you know what I mean? Like, Wes won't be mad at Leroy, but Fessy won't be mad at Cam. I don't know. But honestly, it was rough because now Fessy and Anissa know that he didn't vote the way he said. So that's going to change things for sure.
I know, it's tough to say. Like, I don't know. I guess I just find it hard to believe that Cam would strategize for vote splitting and, like, have it not be shown.
I could just think that Leroy just wouldn't tell her.
I think she really wanted Wes to be voted in.
Yeah, I think Leroy just didn't want that and, like, took his own field trip to do that because there's enough people right now that, like, you just feel like, oh, it'll just get lost in the sauce. Like, you can't figure out who voted for who. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you think that she's going to freak out when she finds this out? Like,
rephrase the question. Do you know Cam?
How badly do you think when she finds out that he went against what she says, what she wants?
If it is the case that he went behind her back, I do feel like she'll be very pissed because I feel like she's the one that's like, I'm running this show and, like, you're going behind my back and, like, da-da-da-da. What else have you done? I do.
And it would look as though he's not sticking up for his girl.
Yes.
Like, and I don't think she would like that at all.
Yeah.
Might be able to forgive it at the end, like after the game, rewatching it back, but I don't think that she would be very happy with him if she finds out, like, in the next coming weeks.
Yeah.
And then also about lying about votes, this is where Kyle gets himself, starts his downward spiral into a sticky situation, not knowing that Fessy and Anissa are able to see who voted where. But he comes in and is kind of being all camaraderie with Tori, saying that he voted in Wes. And Tori did as well, which I thought was interesting.
was Tori lying, or did she actually vote against Wes?
I think she actually voted. I don't remember what it actually if they showed her, but I would assume that she wasn't lying and that Kyle was lying.
Yeah, I don't think Tori was lying. Like, that's just not really, like, Tori's ting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's not really that interesting of a player.
But she's just both of them, like, you know, cackling over this in front of, like, Anissa and Fessy. And I was just like, oh boy, this might not be good. This might not be good. So we're down at the I called it the chamber. What is it called? Crater? What did I call it? Oh, it is the chamber. Well, where they vote. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
And so I love, though, when they're talking, though, that they're like, we don't want to do what the house wants us to do. Like, why are we getting blood on our hands? And I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
I just love when people don't do what the majority wants them to do.
It's a classic. It's such a classic, like, double, like, fuck me, I'm going to fuck you. Like, you're not going to vote the way that I said, fine, but then I'm not going to do what you want. Like, oh my God. And I love that because it just turned it on its head again.
Yeah, I love that so much because when after, like, of course, when the fallout comes and people are like, what happened out there? They'll just be like, yeah, what happened? Did you vote the way that you said that you did?
Exactly. I was just like, oh, yes, I'm glad that they're at least talking about this. And so it basically, like, they didn't want to do the house's dirty work, which is they shouldn't want to do the house's dirty work. I'm glad that they recognized that the house was using them in this way. It was also amazing because Wes was choosing to hope that this was going to happen. Like, he kind of knew that, like, I don't know if they would actually throw me down here in this situation, even though he made it seem as though that was what was going to happen, because Joseph wants to throw him down and go and take out Wes. But he knew that Fessy and Anissa may not do that. And so I thought it was just part of Wes's genius coming through, So they have the crater time. Crater time. It's Big T and Joseph going down into the crater. It is a guy's elimination day, so Joseph is going to get his man. So he's calling out Wes, and Fessy chooses first, and he does not. He decides to go with the one person he knows for sure that was lying about this vote, and he chooses Kyle. Fanta, what did you think about when Kyle and Nany were the pick this time around?
Well, I was like, oh shit. I thought it was interesting that out of everybody, he chose them. Like, I know because like Kyle, directly lied to his face, but so did like other people obviously lied. So I was like, that's really interesting because he didn't really like go high. Like, imagine if he was like, oh, like, let me throw in Leroy. That would have been very interesting. But also I was like, you, Fessy, are such a little bitch that you are not going down on this one. It doesn't matter what it is. It's very clearly not a puzzle. You are like twice the size of Jacob.
Literally last week he said, oh, there's no pole in the middle of a thing. There was a ring in the middle of an empty thing.
How much more Fessy could that elimination have been? And then he called it janky. I was like, you're janky. I hate you. Even
like, I wrote down, I'm like, it looks pretty physical to me. He's like, oh, I didn't know in advance what it's going to be. I'm like, if I was going to guess what it was going to be, it was going to be a physical competition.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
A big empty arena. It's going to be like it could be maybe that you're moving blocks and building something, but it's still physical that I think that he would.
And it's Joseph. Who cares what it is?
Exactly.
And yes, Jay lost the CT. However, Jay is smart and a good competitor.
Yeah.
So even though he's smaller, there was always a chance. Joseph, you know there's 0.0001 chance. Why would you not go in now and get your freaking skull? It just shows how scared he is. He wants it to be the perfect temperature, the perfect moment, the perfect everything for him to go in right before the end, just in case. It just shows that he's actually scared.
Yeah, definitely.
Back up his run.
Like, he may be on my draft, but as a watcher, I hope so badly that by the time he has to go in, it's something that is quote unquote janky and involves puzzles that he will just fail so miserably at and realize like you can't create the perfect climate for this.
The perfect matchup, because everybody would like be like, oh man, I would love to go down against Joseph. I was like forgetting which one is his name. Like that's an ideal scenario, is to go against that particular person. So I thought that he was maybe setting it up for himself to be able to go down and take.
Yes,
Let me take this.
He was going to go down.
I thought so too. It was so stupid. CT definitely would have gone in. Wes definitely would have gone in if he was the person.
Like, go in because I think that he thought that he could beat him and get his gold skull. So I think that Wes was like, okay, fine, I don't have to go in. But like, I think he wanted to go against Jacob.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Like, okay, these are all the guys that would have gone in if they were given the chance. Corey, CT, Darrell. I think even Devin would have gone in on this one. Josh
would not have. Josh says no till the end.
Josh wouldn't have gone in on this?
1,000% no. Josh will not go in until the very end. He's scared. He's scared shitless. You know he is.
I mean, I would have liked to think, like, as much as I can't stand Josh, I would have liked to think that he was a little bit smarter to be like, this looks pretty physical.
Well, especially because everybody was kind of joking around his regime, that like Josh would have been on the like, I'm tougher, I'm a challenge vet. Like,
it doesn't matter. Josh is scared and wants to be there as long as possible. I don't think there's any situation where he would voluntarily ever go in against anyone. Honestly, I don't think he will. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But honestly, I would be so shocked. Because remember how he was like, avoiding going in, freaked out anytime someone even remotely said his name. And then he finally almost thinks he's not going to get the chance and starts freaking out at the very end.
Oh, God.
I don't know. But I do think pretty much every single guy would have gone in.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like dissolved this whole like Fessy's such a big, strong guy. He just really revealed all of his Achilles in one episode, which I think it'll be very important for all of the smart people to exploit that as much as possible and as soon as possible.
I don't know if they're smart enough though. Well, half the house anyways. So it's Crater, but in my opinion, I would rename it The Cave. And The Cave works for me, but it doesn't really say anything about double agent stuff. Still thinking on that one. I don't know if I'm sold of The Cave, but Crater doesn't work for me at all. So Fessy though, and his big game, it keeps on reminding me back to the beginning of the season where people were pissed of my CT pick, and then I'm like, I would never pick Fessy as my first draft pick. This is exactly why I would never pick him as my first draft pick, because he freaking sucks.
Yeah, I would never pick him again. I did, but
exactly.
I didn't think he was gonna like be this shitty this season. I didn't think
what sucks though is that I think that he'll be here for a long time regardless.
Yeah, and that unfortunately is just due to his obviously his size and his strength, but I think he's just really shown his hand completely in all of his weakness points, and I think that somebody like Devin, for example, can really like exploit that and figure out, and maybe not himself figure out a way to take out Fessy, but get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, I don't think
by surprise. I think that is probably what is going to be part of Devin and Kyle's plan.
Well, I could see Wes going against Fessy because Wes is not really scared. Like, he doesn't want to go in, like, obviously because he doesn't want the chance of going home. But when he goes in, he's not scared of going home. You know what I mean? Like, he's not scared of losing an elimination. He just would prefer to like pick and choose when he wants to do it. You know what I mean? And so I can see him doing something that he's kind of more well versed in than Fessy, and being able to outsmart him and winning it. So I would love that to be kind of the matchup, like Wes taking out Fessy. They should have like gotten him when they could, you know, I guess they couldn't really, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm holding out hope that Fessy's going to fall hard.
I hope so. God damn.
Burke says, okay, one thing I hate about challengers is how they view puzzles as if they are crapshoes, and if they lose them, it says nothing about them. Being good at puzzles is part of being a good competitor. 100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Like, I think we're all good at puzzles, correct? I think so. I know Michelle is good. You're good.
I'm okay.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I like puzzles, so I tend to be good at them, but I mean, obviously there's some that...
But that said, I would never, ever go on a challenge-based reality show without practicing puzzles.
Absolutely. Like, I can solve a puzzle fast. I played at org, and like I was the comp beast in this org, and there was a lot of different puzzles that I had to do, and I was definitely good at them. So I would be practicing though. Like I practice slide puzzles like at least once a week. I'll go and do like a 20-minute like practice of slide puzzles. You know what I mean? So if I was winning the challenge, I would try like moving the car out of the slot, like move the red you know what I mean? I try all of those all day long. You're laughing at my nerdiness, but I
yeah, I'm like, this sounds a bit boring to me.
I love puzzles. When I was younger, this is how cool I am. I used to like get these math and like phonics books that had like little games and activities that I used to like be so excited to go home and do like math games and stuff. And so I had a friend come over once, and she's like, do we have to do homework on the weekend? And I'm like, oh, this is fun. I like this stuff. So I've always enjoyed mathy puzzles, like word things. I don't know. I've always liked that stuff. So
I stan your friend.
Adrian says that Fessy would rather compete in a hall brawl, basically, but that elimination would be a piece of cake for him. I mean, if he knew it was a hall brawl, he probably would have gone in against him. It's kind of like the Rogan effect. Like, I don't know.
It's just so dumb because it's like, hall brawls don't come until the end, like toward the end of the season. So effectively, like you just may as well say, I want to wait until the end. I'm a little bitch.
Yes, and
exactly. He's a little bitch, just like Rogan's a little bitch too. And just because you're buff doesn't mean you're not a little bitch. And Rogan's ruder. Cool. I still hate Fessy. It's rooting into hate. It's not hate yet. It's just
well, I mean, we're just hate, but like just strongly dislike. But okay, so I just couldn't understand this question. So Whitney says, if you have to beat someone with a skull to get a skull, does that mean you're at a disadvantage if you win an elimination early?
No, you still get a skull if you win against someone who doesn't have one. It's just that once they've run out of skulls to give out, then you're gonna need to compete against someone who already has one to get it. Once the 10 are gone. So I imagine once the 10 are gone, if you go against someone who also doesn't have one, then you're not going to get one.
Yeah, I don't think it's a disadvantage.
Yeah, I don't think it's a disadvantage.
It's like the thing of like either you go into elimination.
I want to have one as early as possible and deal with like politicking to make sure that I'm not the person that they
exactly.
Well, the only problem is that it does create a disadvantage for you because then once it gets down to it, the bigger hitters who haven't gone in might try to go against you because you already have one. At that point, it's better because then at least you have one.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd rather not do the Josh scramble.
I would rather defend my skull and figure out ways to get other people's skulls to be picked than to not have one and be deciding who I'm going to try to take one from.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whitney asks, could Leroy's vote have been last minute switch that he didn't have time to consult Cam on?
No.
Too.
I don't think so at all. Because then she would have been like, you could have left the room. Like, I just don't think so.
No, because I think that Wes talked to Leroy too, right? Like he was there for that conversation. I think they talked about it. Honestly, I think they at least were like, and maybe they disagreed on it, but maybe it was like, whatever happens, they knew that like, because even afterwards, Cam says, she's like, well, they better, like Aneesa and Fessy better pick Wes. Like they said they were going to do, like we let them win. So like, I think part of it, she was a little bit like, oh, it'll be interesting to see if they actually follow through. So I don't think she was maybe like that even upset. Like maybe she just wanted to make sure Wes got in there regardless. So she probably thought, okay, well, Fessy and Aneesa promised they would throw them in, so they better just throw them in.
This is backed up. Hi, Carolyn. I feel like Nany and Teresa drama from 6 years ago will repeat itself again this season based on the preview. The bad blood is still there. Michelle, can you remind us of the bad blood between Nany and Teresa?
I love Michelle's the encyclopedia.
Essentially, like they both were sort of the same type of player, I would say, kind of like we're doing decently wellish at that same period of time. And I believe it was free agents when Teresa almost made it to the finals, but had to go against Laurel and lost against Laurel. I think she was fine with Nany then. They were okay. And then her last season that she left off was Battle of the Exes 2. And she was partnered with Leroy. And there was drama because it's Leroy. I think Nany, obviously she has a thing with her and Leroy go way back. They also might have even hooked up at that point because there was a point where Nany hooked up with him. And I think they got into a screaming fight over Teresa said she was going to vote a certain way and then like went back on it and kind of chickened out a little bit when she was in front of everyone. I don't know. And then like said she didn't care and like went against Nany. So they had like a whole fight and then they just never saw each other again. So it's more awkward that they just like haven't. I think something will happen. They'll have some sort of thing. There was a preview in the beginning with Teresa crying and she's like, I knew I couldn't trust you. And it doesn't show who she's talking to, but I would guess maybe she builds a bridge with Nany and it gets rebroken, or maybe it's to do with Wes. Maybe she tries to work with Wes again and it gets broken because she already knows. Maybe it's, I don't know who it's going to be, but I would guess maybe Nany. Like maybe Nany goes against her at some point.
I hope it's not Nany, and I hope we get to share a cup of noodles at some point.
Yeah.
Lennon says that Josh is the most delusional challenge player ever. True. Last season proved that he thought Wes had beef with him. Also, he just thinks that there's a target on his back, dead.
Well, yes, obviously, he is a huge, huge, huge target. He's a Big Brother winner. Hello.
I mean, I know we like make fun of Josh all the time. I actually don't mind him so far this season.
Next episode, though, we'll get to that. But like, him being really,
we still have a couple things that we.
Yeah, we still have more things. I'm just kind of catching up on all of them. Now that we're kind of like at the end of it. I was just trying to catch up on some of these comments. This is an interesting question. So, Adrian, Amber B, who would win in Hall Brawl?
Amber B.
Yeah, Big Brother Amber would win, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
she seems taller. I think she's probably about 5'9" or 5'10". It seems like other Amber is tiny. She seems like 5'1"-ish, but she could be like 5'5". I don't know, but
she's short.
Seems like she's small next to Nelson, and Nelson doesn't seem that tall to me.
Agreed.
He might be like 10 as well. I don't know. It's here we go. Adrian, this less Amber B is like a foot taller than Amber M. Yeah, so probably like, well, not a foot, probably like 10 inches taller than her or something like that. Lennon says, well, during the deliberation, Wes and Leroy flat out shown that they were friends, and Leroy said he was voting for Joseph.
True.
That was an interesting call out there because like Leroy was like, so like who are your people? And he's like, you? Remember? I was just like,
oh my god, yes.
That should control. So like, and he had to be like, yeah, you're right. Like we are friends, but like whenever Leroy tries to show some backbone or like some things, he always kind of gets duped a little bit, and it's cute. But I felt a little bit bad for him that moment. That like. Wes is just quicker,
Yeah.
So quick.
But Leroy is still very hilarious.
I mean, I'm always going to be a fan of Leroy. I actually may not like him as much with Cam, though. Okay.
No, thank you for saying that because it's literally eating me up inside.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I know that there's probably some huge Cameron Leroy stans. If they win this season, maybe my feelings will change. But the stuff that I love about Leroy doesn't come through in his relationship with Cam. And so they look aesthetically great together. I want them both to find love, absolutely. But I don't like Leroy more when they're together.
Michelle?
I'm not going to make a comment on this. I mean, I like them. I see what you're saying, but I think he's a kinder-hearted person. Like, I think that when it came to relationships and to women, he didn't care and didn't treat people that well. And now he does. And I think his personality is still coming through. I think game-wise, I don't love them together because she's a little too controlling and overbearing a little bit. So I don't love that element in the game. But in life, I think they make a pretty great couple.
I agree with you.
We were talking about the game. Like in the game, I don't like them. Like,
I thought you were just talking about them as a couple.
No, like when I see them do their outside interviews and stuff like that, like they're cute, but I don't like the version of Leroy being on my TV screen within context of the challenge and him being in a relationship with Cam.
I see what you're saying.
I don't necessarily know them as a couple that much outside of it, and that's what I'm saying. Like I want them to be happy. I want them to be in a relationship, but like. I don't love them as a challenge competitor couple. Like how we liked Tori and Jordan. Like I don't like them as a couple on the show. But all the best to them. Like get the bag, get the money.
We get it, Michelle. You took the high road.
For once.
I enjoy older contestants a lot more than younger ones. I know, it's just a thing. Teresa, Lolo, Jay, he's 2 years younger than Teresa, which seems odd, and Darrell are my faves. I mean, they're all top picks for me too. I like a lot of this cast, to be fair. Josh would be on the lower end of my likes. Nicole on the lower end of my likes. But other than that, I'm kind of down with everybody,
Yeah.
For the most part.
Fessy's down low for me.
Oh, Fessy's down there. I forgot about him. Did something happen with Liv this week? Someone just wrote something.
She had a baby? Oh, no, she had a miscarriage.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. So Liv didn't get any screen time as well. P.S. Her heart goes out to her this past week. Same with ours. Obviously, that must be a really hard thing to go through. That's very sad.
Yeah, that is very sad.
Okay, so what about this? So Mimi, hi Mimi, just joined. You're live. Thanks for joining us. I'm very disappointed with how this episode mission played out. I felt like Fessy and Nisa were handed this win. They didn't earn it. Okay, what do you guys think about that? Like, they didn't earn it. What do you think about that?
That's how those competitions are always about that. The team that wins is always a team that people like the most, or nowadays people are too scared of. Like back in the day, like when DM won that one, it was like people didn't want to go against her. They wanted to give her that win. They like her a lot. Nowadays, it's like, yeah, people were scared to go against them. Fessy has alliances with all these different people, and people were just kind of playing scared. So it was disappointing, but it was also great because it painted such a target on them too.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think that the producers know what they're doing when they are making challenges like that, right? And I think it was very interesting that this was the second challenge, because usually they wait to do that. They wait to do that much later in the game, but I love that they're just forcing everybody's hands so quick.
Making people have to play and not hide at all.
Yeah.
So it's the men's elimination. Big T still calling her partner Jacob, or almost calling him Jacob in confessionals. That's so shameful. And so it's called the Ring of Spies. And basically it's like the perfect competition for Mr. Fessy. They have to hold on to a ring, pull it out of the other partner's hand, and ring it onto a post. This is next up to Hall Brawl. This is exactly the same as holding the damn pole. Like, it is made for Fessy. And you hear him say, like, oh, can I change my vote now? I was like, get out of here.
Like, it's got to be a stick. It can't be a circle.
And I have to see the stick for me to be able to know.
Yeah, you don't explain the rules. Yeah, that's so fucking obvious. What do you
know? I know that's how this game works.
You're never going to know for sure. So have a stick in the middle of me, like, Fessy, it's a stick.
Go get it, Fess. Go get it.
I was just like, this whole episode was him becoming less and less attractive to me. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, he's obviously aesthetically good looking, but like, he lost it for me. So I was worried for a split second when Joseph, oh my God, I have to think of his name now all the time, when he puts like the mustard and talking about like how like it helps like relieve muscle cramping and stuff. And I never had heard that, but I was like, well, if he knows that to do that, I'm wondering if it's going to give him an advantage. So I was kind of being like, oh, like maybe he's good. He knows how, like, you know, if he puts a lot of strength in it, like he's going to have a better grip. I don't know, whatever. I was like, maybe he knows something that we don't know, but no.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. I didn't look it up, but I am so confident that is not.
Everyone else was like,
like leaking it out of like a little Tupperware container that he just like sneaks back into his pocket. It's like that really fucking weird kid that you went to school with in grade 4 who was like spooning mustard like in the corner.
No, kids like that.
I mean, like, props to him for being so multifaceted, but I just
no.
My favorite part though, when like, so they're really in the throes of this challenge, and like Kyle was just not giving up and just pulling and pulling and pulling, and you see the confessional of Joseph being like, all I hear them saying is break his arm. And like, kill him.
And he's like, suddenly I'm like, where the hell am I? It's like, yeah, bro, have you watched an episode?
Just maybe a couple episodes to know what you're getting yourself into.
Because he was so scared.
Not enough. He didn't bring enough mustard for that.
Oh my God. Was that one of the times when you laughed, Fanta?
Yes. I was like laughing the whole time. I was just
oh my God, it was so funny. Okay, so Kyle did like gives no fucks and he like puts the ring on with like Joseph's leg attached to it. It's like, gets the first point. I didn't think that Joseph was going to be able to recover because he seemed already pretty gassed out. Kyle was pretty tired as well, but like,
he was hungover.
Kyle. Fucking Kyle. But I was nervous. I still was a little bit nervous that like maybe Joseph would get a second win when Kyle was kind of like, okay, he got his first win, like he could maybe back down a little bit. But you know, Kyle was like, yeah, I might be a snake, I might lie, but you don't want to face me in elimination. And he proved that by getting that second ring. So Joseph didn't even get one ring on to make it something of a competition. He got both rings on. He used it every ounce of energy inside of him that he was like grotesquely barfing at the end of it because he had so much adrenaline. But
I love how someone was like, he's barfing up blood. And then Nany was like,
this is
literal dinner.
He literally ate a bunch of food and was drinking beers and then came to this elimination. Like,
I had no idea when he was going down, actually.
Yeah.
He had no idea. That's why he freaked out.
Yeah.
Because, especially performing after beers, the worst.
Well, I mean, like, if you have, like, 2, it's not bad, but, like, if you had, like, 5, like...
Which he probably did.
So Kyle wins. I was going to call her Big Toe. We can still call her Big Toe. Was so happy. She didn't even care that her partner saw that she was like so happy that he lost. I love that because she knew that she was just going to get just a different partner that wasn't Joseph. And Joseph wasn't a great partner at all. And so he lost. He's going home. Her plan ended up working pretty well because she's going to get a decent partner because, okay, how it shakes out. So Kyle now has a gold skull. I feel like he might have to defend it because I can see some people may seeing him as being the weakest out of maybe depending on who gets the next few skulls. But he has one. Like, he won it. So, okay, it shakes out now that Kyle gets... Wait, how did it work? I can't remember.
So Kyle won, so he gets to pick... Either he gets to stay with Nany or to infiltrate.
Right, and he does infiltrate.
And he infiltrates, which was an incredible move to understand like the way things are moving in the game. So he picks Cam, which was
mind blown.
Did you stand? Is that where you stood up and screamed, Michelle? Because that's where I screamed.
I was just like, because I had that moment. I was like, he's gonna stay with Nany, like whatever. And I was like, wait, no, like maybe he'll. And then when he was like, there's some big alliances happening, I was like, what does this mean? I thought he's gonna like stick with Nany. Literally, he's like, I'm gonna take someone that I know is attached to Leroy, is attached to these Big Brother people, is the head of one of the heads of this big group of people. I'm taking her. So now I have to be included, like in some kind of way, or I can sabotage it and make sure she doesn't win. Like he can do whatever he wants to do with her as his partner now. It was brilliant. I was like, fuck, this is amazing. Like now Josh and Nany are together and they're happy because they're friends.
Yeah. And then
go ahead.
Yeah, that was I love that. I thought it was a great move. And Chantele, did you want to? There is one part that I want to talk about that was
go ahead.
My favorite part of the episode.
This is all you. Go for it, Fanta. Let me hear it.
So Big T's left with CT, and then I'm happy with the way that CT reacted. He learned from the mistakes or knew better than to act like Fessy did. Because then it made Big T feel so good about herself. And she was like, I'm glad he's happy. And whether he is or not, that was a good way to go about it. I think they'll be fine. But I think the best part of this episode was when Kyle makes fun of Fessy for not going down in the ring. And he's like, oh, so you didn't think it was physical? Like, there's literally nothing else here. There's a ring and there's nothing else. Like, you're a bitch. This was physical and you knew that. You're scared.
I love what he called out Fessy.
Yes.
Just doesn't even care. Fessy just like gets to be like,
okay. He's just like, okay.
It was a brilliant, like Kyle has risen up in my ranks this episode. He's in it. And he didn't even know. He got blindsided. He used that rage to win. And then he goes, fuck you. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to double blindside your double blindside and take someone. And he did it in the moment. He was like, wait, I can pick anyone. Oh, fuck. I'm taking you. Like, he just impulsively made such a good strategic move. Like, oh my God, it gave me like goosebumps.
I got goosebumps right now, you reliving that moment. I was like feeling it. I also, Nany ends up with Josh now out of this. She was acting like she's so happy, but do you think she was actually that happy?
I think she's happy in that he's her friend and she knows she can trust him, and she's a big person about trust. Like, she wants someone she can trust, and I think she'll have a good partnership with him, and she knows that he has the heart and has passion. Realistically, of course, I'm sure in the back of her mind she was hoping she'd wind up with CT somehow or something. Like, of course. But I think she's happy to be with someone that she can actually, like, really have that loyalty with.
Yeah, I don't think it was a step up.
No.
From Kyle, but
and TJ was not that kind with Joseph. He's like, you couldn't get it done. I'm just like, oh my God, see ya.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard for him to like put any energy behind someone that he's like, dude, I'm probably not gonna see you again. Like,
exactly. He's like, well, you need to put some more work in if you want to go against these guys. And it's true. Like, I think that I don't know what he thought, but it must have been that this was a little bit more Mickey Mouse than it actually is. Like, these people come to win $1 million and they're just not just going to be handed to them. And so the fact that like Joseph thought his vibrato was going to be enough for him to like take over. I think that Wes is an even better competitor than Kyle is. You know what I mean? And so like he couldn't even get the lower version of Wes done. I was like, ooh, this bad.
Yeah, he was in way over his head.
I did love though how CT said that he was going to turn Big T into a warrior.
Yes, like let's have them train together.
Yes. Like CT and Big T, BT, CT and BT. I love them together.
He deserves it.
Was goosebumps, if you can see it. Goosebumps.
Yes. She really deserves, and by win, I mean she deserves to be with someone who's going to lift her up, who she's going to do well with. Like, I want her to have moments where she does well in daily challenges and just like have her be more involved with stuff and feel stronger. Like, regardless of the outcome, I'm excited. And like, people aren't going to call them out that easily because, you know, so I think it's such a step up. Well, obviously anyone was an upgrade, but she got the chicken dinner there.
Okay, I don't think that this is the right audience for this comment, Sam. But Sam says right now I'm missing Johnny Bananas, honestly. Michelle, how do you feel about this? On a scale of 1 to 10, we'll say.
I'm 0% missing Johnny Bananas. I don't think he makes or breaks a season. I appreciate him for what he is, and he can be funny, but I was so thoroughly satisfied with this episode, even with the idiots. Like, there's just so many people that I like, and there's so many great moments. The Natalie calling him out, Wes and his antics, like Leroy CT with those one-liners. Like, there's enough for me that, and I like that there isn't this fame surrounding a person. It's kind of just like trolling around. I get to see more of people, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really miss Bananas this season. I feel like it's really just brought people's like true personalities and like game to the surface, like has really given other people a chance to play. As much as I think it would be interesting to watch somebody like Natalie play with bananas, I'm okay. I don't need to see him for a few seasons, I think.
Exactly. Like, I feel because both of these 2 episodes have been so thoroughly satisfying for all the things that I enjoy about the challenge, and he's not part of it, I'm okay with him not being part of this season, because it would just have changed the dynamics of both of these episodes, and I really enjoyed them. So I'm happy to see how this season is evolving so far. Maybe a couple episodes down the road, if the big alliance comes and just starts clobbering people out, and I don't like the way that things are going, maybe then I'll be like, oh, I wish that there was bananas on here. I don't think so, but maybe. But right now, I think that this is one of the best season starts that I've had in a while, I think.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So good. Okay, I don't know if I agree with you here, Burks. I haven't read the whole thing yet, though. Burks says, don't like when TJ imposes his opinion on the game. He was adding a target on Fessy and Anissa in the daily, and then kept asking them if they wanted to go in. No means no. Let them play the game. Ooh, Burks, I don't know if you're with the right audience.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, TJ is about what makes TJ so epic. This is his 25th season doing this shit, and what makes the challenge different from other shows is that it's the challenge. The whole point is you're supposed to be challenging yourself every step of the way and taking those risks and making those moves. And so to do inaction and to not do something because it's better strategy, when the whole point is to get a skull, you're taking away what makes the game fun for viewers and the point of the challenge. You're stepping back from a challenge, and it's just TJ's always going to call you out. It's how he hates quitters.
Yeah.
You're a quitter. His quitter monologue, look at him, it's just part of the joy of it. And yeah, of course he made a thing, their target bigger, but their target was going to be big regardless. And I just think it's funny. To me, I think it's funny that that he called them out.
Yeah, I just find that it just really humanizes TJ as a host, and that's why Challenge is my favorite. Every once in a while I watch Big Brother. I've pretty much given up on that now, but I love a lot of challenge-based reality shows, and I just find that the hosts are never going to say anything to the contestants. They're never going to say listen, maybe are you the one, but that's different. But the hosts are never
a little bit. Jeff Probst in the tribal councils has been calling people out a little bit more, being oh, what's that conversation that's happening over there? And he's been kind of poking at people a little bit. But I had to say, part of TJ's thing, it's TJ's challenge. TJ has, that's, people come here for TJ. They always say at the beginning, oh, there's TJ walking in. He's the one that we're trying to impress here. And so it's kind of part of the show, I think, for TJ to have a role of kind of chirping these contestants, because this is, you're coming, you want a skull from me? You know what I mean? TJ.
Yeah, it's his final.
It's his final.
At the same time, I do get what you're saying in a way, because it's true. Fessy and Anissa are trying to play a game where they keep themselves, logically, if it was another season, yeah, you don't want to go into an elimination. But when you have such an easy win for yourself, and it's very obviously physical, it just shows that you are just your ego's in the way, because you don't want to risk losing against someone easy in something that's physical. Because I think maybe he was worried, what if the polls, what if I have to divide by 3? What if I have to count something? Maybe he was just concerned about having to use his brain in some way that he couldn't,
I'm not sure what this one says. Hi, more people. Thanks for joining us. This is to London. They never do that because rumor has it the boys always go first in eliminations. When production found out CT and West were first elimination, they switched it to Girls' Day. Ashley said so. Oh.
I will say I've been following Ashley on social media and all the T pages and also her account. And she has been saying some things, but nothing about that. So I'll do some research, see if I can find some quotes or something, but I haven't seen her say anything about that. It's mainly just been about how if I had to go against anyone else, I would have had a better chance to win, but it was against Natalie and she was so strong and blah, blah, blah. But she didn't say anything about
they were going to do that no matter what. They'd be like, well, let's see who's going to be up, and we'll see what's going to make the better, more compelling television, like with who's going to go up against each other. So, I mean, it's also in their right. They are making a TV show to be able.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really like. Yeah, I don't know. It is within their right, and there's a lot of things like we all know that Bananas gets, you know, edits, like special edits and all of that stuff. Like there are things behind the scenes that are a little bit more engineered than we'd like to think.
Brooke says, if it's up to me, I want one season without Bananas, Wes, and CT. They hog up too much screen time. CT got 9 confessionals today for doing nothing. No point of having rookies if you're not going to develop them.
Whoa. However, CT did have the confessional that said, Kyle, was it Professor something, got Colonel Mustard with the hula hoop. And that's confessional. So,
I mean, I agree that I want more development of rookies. I totally agree with you. And if there's a season without the big 3, which is them 3, let's be real, I'll be invested. I'll be excited. I'll still watch it.
But also, though, what we enjoyed the most about this episode was how they were able to steer their game and use their strategy. And so it would end up probably being just like a let's big conglomerate alliance go and take out the little guy, and like, you know what I mean? It'll probably end up being one of those seasons, kind of like how Big Brother, the most recent Big Brothers have been, is just big alliances that take all the extraneous people and knock them out. And so with having, in my opinion, like the CTs and the Wesses that are the like on the outside of these big alliances, but they're still strategic enough to still be able to work within this game. I think that they're very valuable so that it doesn't turn into just a numbers game with people clobbering people up, because I don't find that entertaining at all. So
exactly. Numbers games stink.
Numbers games are boring. I agree. But I think it really depends on the combination of things. But it is nice for rookies to have a season where they get to play with vets like that. So they get to kind of like see different sides of stuff and see how the game can be played and have more respect. And then as they play in more seasons, then they can come through and develop more, you know? So well, I don't know. And also,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, also though, like what I like about the challenge is that rookies come in and learn how to play the game because the vets are there. Kind of like what you're saying, Michelle. Like we watched all these people go from real world to road rules to the challenge, and now like they have these big echo challenges where all these other people are coming from these different shows. But before, it was always intermingling in between everybody, and it was part of the MTV family. And so you had the veterans, and that's what I liked about the show, is that like you knew you're going to have some of the staples that are always coming in there, and then there's going to be the rookies, the newbies coming in, and then they're going to be on enough season that we ended up starting to develop likings for them. Like Nany hasn't been there for that long, but we gone to like her because she started off as a rookie and she kind of moved through the rankings. And so me, I like the development, the slower development from season to season, as opposed to just like having a new season of all rookies. Then it wouldn't be the same show to me. And it wouldn't, I don't think, have all the elements that I enjoy about it, because we wouldn't have the episode that we had tonight. We wouldn't have the episode that we had last week, in my opinion. It'd be a completely different show that I don't know if I'd be interested in watching.
See, I think I was thinking more specifically CTUS Bananas. I always think there should be vets, always, and they're my favorite. Like obviously West CT, but if we didn't have those big 3, I would still want there to be people who have done a good amount of seasons and who are, actual seasoned veterans, not people who've done 3 challenges. I do want to have those staples in there always. Like it's going to be really hard for me as those people stop,
Yeah. Because I mean, remember back to, it would be like watching Invasion of the Champions without champs. Like, would you have wanted to? I mean, I would obviously watch.
Just because it has a banner,
but watching all of those people, you have zero strategy.
Exactly. And like what I liked about it was seeing, what's the beautiful British girl's name?
Liv or Gab?
No, from Champs versus Stars, or Champs versus Pros.
But
she was starting to learn. I think it was, I don't know if it was from CT or from West. Those two was teaching her how to be strategic, and she could see like the light bulb going off, and she's getting excited about like learning how to work the game.
Casper's partner.
Yes. I can't remember her name right now.
It started with an L.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. Louise, yes, girl. So London says a season about these three would be the first part of an invasion all over again. And those first 4 episodes suck. So it would also play out like World of Worlds 2 with Cara and Polly running the game. Oh my God. See, this is nightmare. Nightmare.
No. If we just have Cara leading the way, no.
Well, I don't even think Cam would do a good job leading the way. Like, it might be a winning game for her, but it wouldn't be an entertaining season to watch, and it wouldn't be the type of gameplay like I like seeing happen.
Yeah, exactly.
She might win, but I think CT plays a boring numbers game though. This season he's been at the bottom, but he actually plays this game where he just coasts and follows the numbers like he did in World of Worlds 2. Well, I mean, if he doesn't have the numbers, he kind of has to go with them, right?
Yeah, but then on World of Worlds 2, he also
pulled the plug at the right time.
Not continue playing with them when he could have.
Well, and they didn't want him on his team. Like, I don't know. He kind of played in a completely different game, and he still got to the end and won.
What I like about his game and his game in that one is that he knows when to step back and he knows when to come forward. And he's relevant already this season by A, being who he is, B, being put into the first elimination, trying to get out. Now he's got a new partner. And the truth is he's really good at pulling at your heartstrings and creating storylines. He's done this a million times in an authentic way back in the day where they weren't as curated. So like he's always going to have something that we're interested in. And like, it was brilliant the way War of the Worlds 2, he was like, with the numbers. And then when it got right towards the end, like, fuck this, we're going to save Tori. Like, let's make this happen. I want to actually win. So he knows when to like get it himself his goods, you know?
Mm-hmm. Whitney's on your side here. So Whitney says, I think that the issue with TJ attacking Fessy and Anissa for not going in is that he's discouraging 2 really big and great TV. Encouraging? 2 really big and great TV moments. Yeah. I think that it would have been a pretty big moment if Fessy went down. Like, he wants that to happen. Like TJ was salivating at people being like, I'm going to go and call my shot.
That's what we all want, right? You want to be like, let me in there, and they take off their jacket and they go in and do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it was a bigger moment because of what happened with what Kyle did.
Yeah.
So like that ended up being more crazy and a great moment. I agree, but TJ always wants people to say yes and do the thing. So
Natalie.
We hate Cody.
Natalie. No. No more Calafioris on the screen.
No. I would rather, this is very controversial, but I would rather see Polly again than see Cody.
Same.
Yeah. Honestly, because it's gonna be drama. I stopped watching Big Brother All-Stars this season because Cody is just such a snoozer, and everybody just let him win. I just don't really think that the challenge is like. I mean, obviously, I'll still watch if he's gonna be on it.
I'd love him to get clobbered. Unfortunately, I'm sorry,
but I just don't. Yeah, I don't really think it's like the game for him, and I think that Cody knows that. I really just feel like Cody knows that and would probably never do. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh my God, he get destroyed. Exactly.
Good.
He's soft.
He's pretty.
And he's not a hothead like Polly is. I'd rather see Nicole Franzel over Cody. Whoa! I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like just in the way that you would like to see her get rocked. I would love to see Nicole get rocked, but I never want to see her on my screen on anything ever again.
True.
An insufferable human being.
It's very true. Adrian says either California would be awful. Yeah, I'm done with that family. They've won enough money from CBS. Like I'm good. I'm good with my Calafiore fix here. London says Paulie is still kind of entertaining. Yeah, he's a better underdog with the numbers against him. I obviously would rather see any of these people that I dislike in an underdog position, because then at least I'm rooting for them. But I'd rather him just not be there. But he is more entertaining than Cody, which is like, oh.
And you also like get to know that he's going to gas out and pass out in a final. So that is kind of a fun thing to look forward to.
Nicole F would be eaten alive, dead. Wait, Burks doesn't agree? I don't know. I don't agree. With what? With like
what you were saying before about Wes and CT and being in the challenge and the vets, that whole conversation we just had.
I want Brett then. Brett, I mean, okay.
I would take Brett. He's kind of funny.
I'd take Brett. He wouldn't probably take the game too seriously, but he might be entertaining. I think he would go in, but I don't think he'd be. I don't think he'd play scared, but I don't think he'd play that strategic. I think that he'd just be like an agreeable contestant. Just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he'd be that involved.
Oh, yuck. Brett. I had to, like, I forgot who that was. And I had to, ugh.
I mean, better than the Calafioris? Come on. Burke says she's smart enough, but any physical elimination she's done in. Like Nicole Franzel and Hall Brawl? Come on. I can't.
I would pay to see it.
I'd rather have Dave Bay again. Both said that they don't want to do it again. I mean, they both didn't have very great experiences. Like one, Davon was like with Bear the whole time. Poor thing. Yeah, it's a harder game for sure. I don't know if I like, especially coming from cushy Big Brother. Like, you know, the challenge is kind of hard. Whitney says, I think it'd be fun to have Brent welcome at. He wouldn't last, but it would be entertaining. I mean, I'm watching him on the Sequester. Are you guys watching Sequester right now?
No.
They have a new live, like Sequester season 4 is out. So we're on week 4 this Sunday. So if you guys want to catch up, it's a pretty good, if you want some good social strategy, like it's been pretty good so far. No Nick. No Nicole? What were we talking about? I don't remember. I can see Vanessa on the challenge. I can see her a little bit. I think she could do decently well. I think she'd still do the whole cry thing, but like still be strategic. But
Vanessa Russo?
I think so.
The poker player?
I think so.
Huh.
Yeah, who else would they be referencing?
I could see her on it more than I can see Nicole Franzel. She's a little more tougher.
She's tough. She's willing to have a fight.
And Lenny says, I'd like to see Brittany N again. Which Brittany is that? Ever since she hooked up with Brad, she never had a fair shake on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she come back.
About her the other day.
She can come back.
I wouldn't mind Brittany.
I'm fine with Brittany.
Honestly, I always do this though. I'm like, oh, I want to see this person again. I want to see this person. And I just like always forget like how much I couldn't stand them. Like, I'm like, ooh, I want to see Amanda again.
I love Amanda.
But I would, that would be fun.
So, okay, how do we think that CT and Big T will do as a pair? Chaotic or entertaining?
Entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining. I mean, CT's a good partner. Like he's not like having a Jordan, right? So he'll be encouraging, and like even if he gets like really disappointed, like I'm sure he'll figure out some way to like make it work.
Yeah, I think that he's like a good partner. Exactly. Like I think that he's going to want to do well. I think that he understands people and these people in this game enough to know that he needs to encourage them to do well in order for them to be a good partner with him. And so I think that they will be entertaining because, you know, he's so big and she's so small and like she has the British accent and he likes kind of poking fun at her when she's drunk. And I just think that they'll have a good time together and she's going to want to do well for him, I think. And so I think that's going to be a good working relationship. And I think we're going to like I can totally see them getting hit, like winning the daily next week right away, and like her getting some like feeling good, you know, like yeah. It's happening right away. So I'm here for it for sure. Ooh, interesting. Do you think an all winners season would happen? That'd be good though, eh?
No. I just don't think there's enough people who would be able to come back at this point. I don't know. I'd be into it, But
I would be there for it, but I feel like if they were gonna do something like that, they would have to make it like Allstars.
Yeah.
To make it work.
Yeah. I mean, actually, they have a big pool of winners if they actually put them all together. Because like maybe first, second, and third place sometimes too. You know what I mean? Or like finals, people who have placed in the finals maybe.
That's a different story. Yeah.
Brittany definitely needs to do another season. I like her, but she never got a fair shot. That was how we just read that, I think. And I heard CT was very horrible to Veronica in Final Reckoning. He was encouraging Big T though, so that's good.
Well, yeah, I think he's learned from that mistake.
Yeah, he was horrible, but also Veronica was just drinking wine the whole time. Like, I mean, put yourself in that position. If your partner literally refused to work out and was just guzzling wine the whole time.
Yeah, but that's like how Big T wasn't feeling Joseph. Like, if they're not on the same page on how they want to do the challenge, like it can be really frustrating. And especially he has probably known her for the last 10 years. Like, he's probably just irritated that he's with a partner that doesn't want to win, and he probably wanted to win for his family or whatnot. So yeah. He was shitty to her, but I kind of get it, unfortunately. Oh, and Natalie's saying Nick from BB21. Natalie, no. He's canceled, babe. He's done.
He's done. He's done, queen.
It's over. Like racist text during like Black Lives Matter. Done. Like it's over.
Thank you.
Okay, so last couple questions here. Veronica isn't good for Modern Challenge, so CT wasn't in the wrong. Exactly. She isn't. Modern Challenge isn't just about hanging out and having fun anymore. It's actually like showing up and winning. So yeah, Peyton even agrees. She wasn't there trying to win the money, and she was. So they were on the same page. Adrian says, I'm sad that there was also no Darrell this episode. He had that one line.
A couple moments.
He's very cute.
I love him.
It's very cute, but he's just sitting in the background, just like calling out Wes, being like, he's not that rich. And
yeah, I love him. But I don't know. I guess there's like people are always like, oh, like, he's too boring to come back or whatever. But I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always happy to see Darrell.
Me too. I want to see him I want to see him have some power. Natalie Kemi, I don't think she would do it, but I could see her. She doesn't seem to have enjoyed her Big Brother experience. I don't know if she would put herself in another one of these kind of shows.
I felt so bad.
Big Brother loves racists.
Right?
They love casting them. Like, they love pretending like they didn't know the whole time.
Exactly. Peyton said the challenge doesn't need any racist people, especially Nick. Exactly.
They interview those people so much. How many layers you have to go through to get on Big Brother? Like, you know what you're doing.
And the thing is, it doesn't take that many layers to figure out that somebody's a racist. Like, it's not that hard.
No.
And that's the thing. Like, as soon as they're like, oh, like, what do you say? You think the Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization? Let's put this person on season 25, please.
You want to wear a MAGA hat as part of your wardrobe inside the Big Brother house? Oh, no logos. No logos.
Bring it. Let's put 2 Black people in so they just have themselves to count on.
Oh, jeez.
Like, yeah, Brett.
Big Brother. So, okay. So Burks is saying that it was odd that CT to berate her for not working out when he was in the best shape of his life either. Well, I mean, I think though, like, you want to have a partner that's going to encourage you to do better. And like, I just don't think that he wanted to just be encouraging Veronica all the time. Like, I think he wanted it to be like more of a collaborative thing. Like, hey, let's work out together. Like, hey, let's do this. And so maybe, yeah, he wasn't in the best shape, but he probably didn't want someone in worse shape than him that's not going to at least pump him up to want to like work out and stuff like that. So
yeah, but even still, like, CT in his like worst shape could still like push it. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it was more of like a camaraderie thing of like, okay, let's do this together.
Yeah, he just didn't like, it wasn't a good partnership. Watching the challenge on Netflix is a completely different show. I don't see many old heads surfing on the show now.
Do you know what sucks?
What?
We don't get challenge on Netflix in Canada.
Aww.
I checked it last night and I was like, ooh, yeah. And then I checked and we don't have it in Canada.
I'm gonna see if I have it because I think I have a US account, but I'm gonna have to check and see if I can get it because I don't know anymore. That's sad though. But it's the duel that we just watched, so that's a thing. And then what's the other one, Michelle? Michelle always knows these things.
I thought it was just those two.
The duel and what?
The duel and was it Invasion of the?
I thought it was season.
Oh, Inferno 2.
I thought it was season.
It's Inferno 2 and the duel 1. Season 13 and season 10 and 13.
Oh. Adrian says that Kemi did a question and answer video saying that she would do it. Okay. I'd be happy to have her. To be fair to the challenge racist casting contingent, Annalise and were supposed to be on the season, but then they weren't. And I think they weren't for the same reason why I think that Nick is canceled. I think that that group chat came to the surface and they were both part of it. So
I mean, here's the thing. I think that there's racists everywhere. Obviously, we can agree with that. And I think that there's always racist casting on every single platform, whether it's The Bachelor, whether it's Survivor, whether it's Big Brother, whatever. I do feel, and maybe I'm naive, but I do feel as though with MTV, there's more, I feel like the viewers have more power than other shows do. And I think that if it was a situation where we were looking at The Bachelor, for example, and there was somebody that was just like super shitty and racist, which obviously has happened before, viewers don't really have capital or any kind of gravitas, like in terms of making decisions in terms of casting. But if there's somebody that goes on the challenge or is about to go on the challenge and the whole challenge fandom is like, no, this person is racist, or no, we don't want this person, they're going to be like, okay, like, let's pick up an alternate.
Yeah, exactly. Burke says half the new female winners have been axed. I don't see it happening. The only recent female winners that they would bring back are Jenny, Ashley. They don't call Cara anymore. Sarah won't come back. I think they don't call Cara because of being with Polly. Sarah, she got done dirty by Bananas. I think that was just too heartbreaking for her. Can you imagine David Alexander on the challenge? I mean, yes, but like he'd just be thrown in the whole time, and like he's kind of would be like a Joseph, like having no idea what's going on and think that he has like he's gonna prove something. He would have gotten on everyone's nerves. Yes, he would have, and yes, he could use a VPN. So I'm gonna try with a VPN to see if I can get it over here, Fanta, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
And Adrian heard that Mark from BB19 was almost on this season, but he got cut last minute, just like Jenny.
I heard that too.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I was very happy to hear that he got cut because I do not need to see Mark on my screen again.
This is a no Mark Jansen zone.
Please. No. I agree. The challenge listens to the fans. The cast are super diverse, and I love that. They totally scapegoat D, though, and didn't give the main white men the same treatment. I agree. It didn't seem fair. I'm also curious, so if there might have been more going on with D for them to be making an example out of her that we didn't see. Like within the actual franchise, or like maybe with how she is to deal with as a cast member. Like there might have been more going on, and they're just like, oh, this is a good way to get rid of her. Because yeah, they didn't really use the same brush with everybody, but that has done similar things to her. So
yeah, I mean, if we could look back at the challenge and see there's a lot of very, 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 very horrible, heinous things, like going back to like Kenny and Evan, and even the way Johnny used to be in CT and Wes. But I would like to think, like, especially with Wes, from the time where he was like pouring pop all over Cara to now that he's learned that that was a very horrible thing to do and will never do that again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a very small example. You can't compare that to racism, but.
So London says, rumor has it that the challenge gods want Vinny from Jersey Shore on next season. I wonder how that would work. I wonder too. I've not heard that. I don't know.
It would be a disaster.
I mean, I'll watch it just because it would be so bad. And I just would want to see him fail, basically. So I guess it would be interesting in that sense.
Well, Jersey Shore boys are like guys in those shows, like Jersey Shore boys are like popcorn muscles. Like they don't exercise those things.
No.
Like it's just for show.
Yeah. Peyton says Mark is trash. Okay, we're almost done, guys. People keep on talking though. Have we studied our impressions yet? No, I forgot. I'm doing Lolo. I'm going to come back with Lolo. Wait, Michelle, you're doing who again?
Nicole,
yes. And she didn't have that many confessionals, but like maybe, yeah, you could probably have some good material though when she's like talking to whomever. And Fanta, you were doing?
I can't remember.
Josh?
Oh yeah. No. Yes, it was Josh.
Okay. I think it got exposed that it's written into the challenge contracts that they can't be fired for offensive comments said on the show. Okay. So maybe that was something in the past. Like maybe they have them in their contracts now.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. Like, I'm sure they redid those contracts if they hadn't already after D. Because I'm sure, like, MTV is like, we reserve the right to fire you for whatever reason we want.
That makes sense then. Is Georgia banned from the challenge? Their issues? I don't know if she's
not banned from the challenge. She didn't, like, he's the one that did the thing, the revenge porn storyline. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. But she's not banned. I just think that, like, either she has been saying no because she's doing whatever else, or it just hasn't been the right cast for her. I don't think she specifically isn't being asked, though. Mm-hmm. I think she wanted to take a step back, especially she really got hit hard in a bad way the last season that she was on.
Yeah.
So if I were her, I'd be like, why would I come back? Literally no one would work with me.
Yeah.
There's some tea for you, Michelle. Cute.
Guys, I'm gonna get my first OnlyFans account.
Watching Fresh Meat 2. I'm rewatching all Teresa's season. It's a great season. Teresa, Laurel, Kara's beginning. Yes, Fresh Meat season. Great. She did blackface. That's why she's not on. Right, she did do that for Halloween.
Wait, what? This year?
Or the year, not 2020, 2019, I think, or 2018.
I didn't know about that. I retract my statement.
I think she did like that. She maybe, I don't know. It wasn't specifically blackface, but she did paint her face a darker color. And she was crying because she was so sorry. She didn't mean to do that, et cetera, et cetera. Not good.
At this point, even if just at this point, like, you see how many people like do blackface and you think the next Halloween, you're like, this Halloween's going to be different. But there's still always like one person who will do it and then cry and be like, I didn't realize.
Sorry, not that. Okay, this is the last question that we'll do is, has our winner picks changed? So, Michelle, what do you think here?
I think I said CT before.
All said CT in there. CT, Lolo.
I think Natalie was in there too.
Natalie, CT, and Lolo. My votes, yeah, I'm still rooting for those things. Those are still what I think is going to win. I'm still rooting for Leroy to get a win. I always root for, like, Nany and like people who haven't won, but.
Will Cameron and Leroy survive to the end? I don't think so, to be honest.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Hot. Came into hot. Okay, so Georgia did it when she was 19, but it was a complex situation. It was a face painting party for a kid's birthday party, and the kids painted it. She claimed ignorance because blackface isn't a big concept in the UK, and I could be sort of, I could understand that too. Like, it's I don't know.
Yeah, you can't say that it's not a concept.
What a concept in the UK. Okay.
It's a concept everywhere.
Okay, no, not that it's not a concept in there, but I can see that, like, they didn't have minstrels in the 1920s, if I'm not mistaken, like in the same way that they had people actually doing blackface in the 1920s in the United States. So I don't know if that was a cultural thing that happened in the UK, but it's a concept that has existed throughout this time. So she may not have had the history lesson of understanding like how it's culturally inappropriate. But I don't know. I feel like it's easy to say that you're ignorant to those type of things, but it seems like it should be very obvious of what not to do. But I don't know. I'm not a white blonde woman from the United Kingdom, so I feel like it should be pretty obvious what you should do. But I don't know. All right, I think that's everything. One last little thing. So also Natalie had racist tweets resurfaced, so she also hasn't gotten the call exactly.
Yeah, I saw those, which is great because I hate Natalie.
We hate her.
We were kind of usually pretty good with the people that we don't like. They usually have some offside things. We're like, oh, perfect. So we don't have to see them anymore. So when is it going to happen to Nicole? I don't know. But I can see her having some offside things come up, and then she'd never be on a screen again. Like
Nicole Franzel?
No, the like Ireland.
Oh, this Nicole.
Yeah.
I just edit her out of my brain.
Right? Okay, this is the best note to leave on. So as long as we all agree to stand Big T, all is good. Big toe, big toe, big toe.
And she's on my team. She's gonna win it all.
I don't know.
I'll take a side bet on that.
I don't think so. But I love her though, and I want her to do really well. I just think that people are going to think of her as weak, and even if she does get a skull, I think that people would think that it would be an easy skull to take back. So I think that she's going to have a challenge getting her skull. That's my thought. Big T, big T. All right, that's it for the Michelle's birthday special here. We did it, but it was a good one, I thought. Do you have anything that you're working on that you want the people to hang out with you? Are you going to do a stream of you playing Guess Who with the challenge competitors on it? What are you going to do?
Maybe eventually I will be. Yeah, but so far, no. I'm doing my first and only commercial of 2020.
Yeah.
And so that'll be fun, but I'm not going to tell you what that is because
is it going to be embarrassing?
I mean, we'll see. I think it's only an online only, so and it's not OnlyFans, guys. Don't worry. We'll see.
Yeah, sad news.
What about you, Fanta? Do you have any embarrassing commercials that are about to air or that you're filming?
Oh my gosh, I have an embarrassing commercial that like renews itself every 3 years. But it didn't renew itself this year, which is sad because I would have gotten some money, which I would have liked. But it's like I'm pretending to be a doctor, but it only airs in Detroit. I've never seen it, but like I don't know. I was like young, and I just like went and I did this commercial, and they were like, put this coat on, like you're a doctor, you're trying to sell this gel cream or whatever that removes this, that, the other thing. And so it's been airing for like, I don't know, maybe 6 years or something. And
so are we on a mission to find this commercial so we can share it with everybody?
I mean, if you can find it, I will be incredibly impressed because I have not been able to find it. Also, I haven't really been looking for it.
Well, I haven't been looking for it yet, but I want to find it now. I'm just speaking lastly of commercials. It's not one that I did, but I don't know if you know, actually I won't say her name online, but this girl that I know from Vancouver, I was watching US television and I saw her on this commercial. I don't remember what the product was or whatnot. And so I like took a screen grab of it and I sent it to her and she's like, yeah, that is me. I just thought it was weird that she's in Vancouver, but she was doing this American commercial. And she's like, what was really weird about this commercial is that I was supposed to be really friendly and likable, but they didn't want me to smile and show my teeth. So like anytime she would be smiling, she'd be like, and so sometimes like her smile got too big and like they're like, cut, we saw teeth, and so like she couldn't show her teeth ever, and so she's like the whole time. Anyways,
commercials are so weird.
Commercial again because you're like, you know, she's just like it's looking all pleasant, but like it's bad that she wasn't allowed to show her teeth. Anyways, that's my story. Follow us on social media. We'll hang out and chat with you, obviously more because, you know, We did it for 2 hours and 45 minutes today, so we'll definitely talk to you about it on Instagram. If you have any tea or anything that's going on, no spoilers, but tea is what we want. We definitely will talk about it and talk to you about it. So thanks for hanging out with us, all you guys in the chat. You guys are awesome. You know, the Whitneys, the Paytons, Adrian, Burke, Sam, Natalie, and everybody else I'm forgetting right now. We watch you at London. I really appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us. You guys make this chat even more fun, talking about this show, our favorite show. So you got good content to talking about, but we definitely enjoy having these convos with you guys. So please subscribe over there if you haven't done so already. Join in the fun. Other than that, do you guys have any final thoughts, last words?
Just so excited for.
I'm so bummed.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Bye.